time it is. It's Friday night. It's time for the SpaceBro Show. That's right. We're back at you with the #1 Friday night podcast that talks about our favorite video game of all time, Star Citizen. And joining me tonight is the one, the only, Mr. Toy Grubbin. That's right. Also, we got Mr. Dr. Drones in the house with us as well. Diligently talking and looking at the screen. And the one, the only, you know him. He sips his coffee very diligently. The Uber Nerd is here as well. So join me as we all jump into it and do our favorite thing. And that's talk all about Star Citizen. Oh yeah, guys. What's going on, gentlemen? How are we doing tonight?
You use that term loosely, don't you?
I do. I use it loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey.
What's up?
Oh, it has been, I don't know about you guys, it's been a long week for me. It's been a long week. I've had a lot of stuff happening at home doing. We finished Assassin's Creed storyline for Origins, all that stuff. But let's hear about what you guys have been up to. So we'll start with Mr. Drones tonight. Why don't you tell us what you've been up to?
Why?
Because I like leading in with you because you get all flipped about it.
I've been doing stuff and the usual stuff and other stuff. No, lots of Star Citizen streams, man. I've been having a lot of fun with it and
Nice.
A very responsive crowd lately. I'm super hyped. There's a lot of people getting into it that weren't, so loving it.
It's great. It's great news.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Toy, how about you, man? I know you've been torn between home life and strumming and all that stuff both ways, but you've gotten a few in over the last week, too. So what have you been up to?
Streaming just about every single night.
Yeah.
Honing my Star Marine skills on Rainbow Six Siege.
Yep.
So,
Which the game may be more Rainbow Siege-like than what most of us want to admit by the time we get it, in the new build. So we'll see.
I like Rainbow Six Siege. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's combined strategy with, first-person shooter.
There you go.
You don't want,
Yep, not everybody can be a skilled running gunner like myself. Unfortunately, they're going to take it away from me, and we're going to be Rainbow Six Siege. Although, I will be happy when they add some medical in there and they let us start to kind of revive people a little bit in some way and all that, which is down the road. So we'll see how that all plays out, though, in the long term. And Mr. Uber Nerd, how are you doing this evening? What have you been up to, buddy?
Same old stuff, different day.
Oh, yeah.
Just been doing mostly Star Citizen, but I've been actually...
screen switch over to Smashly. Sorry to interrupt you.
I don't know. Did it?
It's still showing us on mine.
I was sitting there watching Uber Nerd talk, and then all of a sudden Smashly's screen came right up over.
Her stream is so powerful, it
weird.
took it away from me.
Let me refresh.
She's got one of them type of personalities.
Yeah,
That game's got personality that goes on for days.
magnetic personality.
It's this
That's
new
right.
Twitch. This
Yeah.
new Twitch
Yeah,
is
the
really
new Twitch
buggy.
is extraordinarily buggy.
Yeah,
And
There's-
unfortunately, they don't give us the option of using the old one anymore. And they should have done a little bit more testing on it because they shouldn't be. Anyways, I've had some problems too. Like when I click on go to stream, it will take me back to my channel. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't want to go to that.
yeah.
So, so I've been playing a lot of Star Citizen, watching videos, talking a lot of Theorycraft.
Yep.
And then, I'm really close to, if they don't get us into the PTU here soon, I'm going to start streaming other things for a while because I can't. I don't think there's much else I can do.
Yeah.
I got to 3,333,333 and screenshotted it. Now I'm going to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm not going any further than that.
Yeah.
That's going to be my limit right there.
Yeah.
So, and I was able to get 3 more emotes up, but they took a long time to get approved.
Yeah. I think they're running around a lot now with all their personnel trying to fix, this stuff with Twitch.
Right.
They're also they rolled out the new bit purchasing on mobile, which I'm sure they're probably rank as a higher priority for them because they're a revenue stream for the company. Even though they appear to be, and this is just a warning to our mobile viewers, they appear to be cheaper on the mobile unit, but they're not, because that is the price before they assess iOS or Android fees on top of it through your device and all that stuff. So they've lowered them down so they're the same cost, I believe. Yeah, I think Twitch has done that. So if you buy them via mobile for bits and all that stuff, although I will say, even though Twitch doesn't like me to, I am not a huge proponent of buying bits unless there's some promotional offer that's going on, or it's for charity or something of that nature. Most streamers much rather just get direct donations for the ship programs, the charity streams we do, and all that stuff. So, you know, it's kind of however you want to deal with it, but
well,
that benefits us and whoever you want to give to more, to be honest.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, some of my viewers have told me that they don't like. People from Denmark have said it's easier for them to get bits and donate bits than it is for them to try to donate in Danish kroner and have it like, because then all of this stuff with the because it actually ends up costing a lot of money to have that money changed in, you know, because then I have to accept the kroners with an exchange rate and all this other stuff.
I think Mitt and I can agree that Bitcoin is the ideal way to donate to a streamer.
As long as you didn't hold Bitcoins.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Single Bitcoin a day, and I'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I can live off one
I don't
Bitcoin
know
a day.
about Danish or whatever. I know I do get a lot of EU, and I do get some pounds donated and stuff like that. Fortunately,
Euro is actually okay, but it's the smaller, more localized currencies that have some issues.
Yeah, that's why through Streamlabs it's been really nice. They mitigate a lot of that stuff, and also PayPal they'll accept all currencies, and then I can transfer it back and forth pretty easily when I want to on my PayPal and stuff. So you just if you have it you have to have your PayPal set up as a business account. And that tends to help a little bit with that. I think you can also do a personal one too. But it'll show my balance in like USD, all those different things, and then I can just choose when or if I want to transfer it. Sometimes I just keep it in there if I know the market's really bad on one or the other, and I'll wait till, you know, euro goes up or something, then I'll dump it and do those sort of things. But it's my little
SpaceBro financing.
That's right, SpaceBro financing through Twitch.
Speaking of which, you did hear that you can buy bits now with PayPal, right?
Yes, they did add that.
Yeah, that just hit. Yeah,
not something I market a lot, because again, unless you're in those situations like what Uber Nerd said, you know, for certain countries it makes sense because they can't really donate through those things. Even people like in, for example, Space Zombie's situation, where he might not be able to use the payment processor for Twitch at all. Like, he technically can't even subscribe anymore to Twitch because they've just blacklisted his country. So some of that stuff doesn't allow, but sometimes you can use other media to, get bits and do it that way, and it just works out better. So, let's see. We're going to go into this week where we've saw a little bit more in depth about some of the process of how they created procedural cities. They had a happy hour that I thought was decent, but to be fair, they talked more about the process of developing a language, which I knew they would to a certain point. I was hoping they'd dive a little bit more directly into their process of developing the Xi'an language. I knew it was going to be like, this is how we create something, this is how we do it, but I felt like it was a little bit too more broad, for me personally, than directed towards the game, if that makes sense. But that's kind of the way I felt about it anyway. So why don't we start out actually with that? Let's start out with the beautiful happy hour and just get your guys' impressions. I know some of you may or may not have watched. I know Toy watched a big chunk of it and whatnot. But we had Disco on there. Obviously, Sherry was there. And I can't remember, what was his name again? I always forget his name. Who was it? Yeah. And he's the gentleman who developed the actual language itself. And I was surprised to find out at CitizenCon it was more of a hobby for him. It's not like his main profession, even though he does have, degrees and stuff in those type of fields a little bit. But that wasn't his main profession. This is something he kind of pet project type thing. And again,
linguistics is a hobby.
Yeah. I mean, that's light hobby, huh? So yeah, there's definitely some different aspects of that. But Toy, what was your big impression from the overall happy hour? How did you like it? Did you kind of Did you think it had good information? What were your takeaways?
I liked it because a lot of people get into that type of stuff, and they're doing he's doing these little series basically, and they're pretty much still haven't finished developing this language, so they're still developing it even now, which is kind of cool, and it just shows the depth of what they're going to in this game, of in the history of some of these things, how deep they're delving into the history of all this stuff. And you get little, some of the stuff it's a little dry, but every once in a while they drop these little gems about stuff that's gonna, possibly be in the game later on down the line.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to learn that they didn't even have you can't say Dave in the Xi'an language, right? There's no D, so Dave's host. I don't know what to tell Hindane, but he's like, he's screwed. If somebody comes up in Xi'an and asks him what his name is, I don't know what he's gonna say. He's just.
I was laughing when they were doing that part.
Yeah.
More clips for Dave.
There you go. Drones, how about you, buddy? What did you get to watch any of this? Did you?
I did not watch any of it due to work reasons, so I missed out. But I will rewatch it probably tomorrow.
Right on. Yep. All right, Uber.
Yep, watched the whole thing.
Okay.
And he kept talking about how is very similar to the Korean language, but the Korean language is actually more closely resembling our own alphabet, right?
Yeah.
The Arabic and the more of a Greek styling rather than Chinese, which this language really does resemble. Chinese is made up of smaller radicals which make up a single word. So when you go look at when you look at the radical or you look at the character that says an peace, right, in Chinese, it is a woman in a house is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. They're a lot more detailed.
But what it is that there are two radicals together. One is the roof and the one is the one for female, right? And they're put together, and together they create a new word, peace, right? So, but when I looked at the Xi'an language, and I've gone through it on the, on Spectrum and all the information that it has in there, it really does look Chinese, not Korean at all. I mean, and if you look at both Japanese and Korean, they have Chinese characters there. In Japanese and Korean, they've taken Chinese characters, changed them into completely different words, and so they've taken actual characters from the Chinese language, but really it looks more Chinese than anything else, because neither the Koreans or the Japanese have this type of thing in their language. They don't do stroke order or any of that kind of stuff. It's more of draw it as you need it, more sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Chinese.
I don't know.
Chinese language is a lot more detailed, and the way they write than what I feel like. The Japanese seems like it's a more simplified version of the same type of kanji and lettering and character system, And the one thing that did stick with me that I saw from the episode, and I again didn't get to watch the entire thing, partly due to the family stuff, partly due to it. Again, it got a little dry for me through parts. I was interested in the Xi'an aspect of it. Every time they'd start to dive into a little tidbit of that, like the letter D thing, or the fact that Chris really wanted a vertical language, right? Something that was kind of had verticality to it, the way it was written and transposed and opposed to other stuff. They'd draw me back in, and then they'd lose me on some tangent about, like something else, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, Star says, oh, like all that stuff.
Well, it was cool, because it says, you can use programs to make up languages. The problem comes from, we have mothers and fathers, but their mothers and fathers in Xi'an is different.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They can't just use the language makeup program to do languages. So they need to do it from scratch, and that's what they
Culture has a lot to do with how a language is structured. For example, again, I'm going to go back to Chinese, but in Chinese there is no him or her. there is no his or hers, or there's no feminine or masculine when it comes to the different types of indicators, pronouns, or whatever. It's all just one pronoun, and it's the way that you speak. I mean, so I got caught early on when I was speaking Chinese, speaking like a woman, because all of my teachers were girls. I had to change how I spoke because they add certain words into how they say things that changes it from masculine to feminine. So
it makes sense. Yeah, I was interested. That was another aspect that again drew me back into it, back and forth, when they were talking about the family units and how that they actually, Xi'an, have deep interpersonal relationships with the people that they get to meet and know over years and all that stuff. And a family unit might be made up of one mother, two fathers, or something like that. They're more commonly having 3 or more like adults that were like kind of the central family unit as opposed to the other. So that makes sense that some of the terminology that you would use in this type of language would be wholly different when dealing with individual people and stuff like that. Because if you're talking about your parents to, us means generally a mother and father, or just 2 people. And in their language, that could mean 2, 3, or possibly even 4 people, depending on how their family unit's transposed. And that's just, it's a little bit different.
I thought it was cool that it was, what was more important were elders, not parents. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
You don't talk about your parents as much as you talk about your elders, and but you only in terms of introducing yourself. I am from this line or whatever, right? And after that, any talk of family or family lines is considered not taboo, but just really impolite.
Yep.
So,
absolutely. Cool. Well, and that, even though I do encourage people that are interested in anything culturally or language-wise with Xi'an, it is a good episode to watch because you do get tidbits that I didn't think of, and also you get aspects of like how their mindset was in developing the language to fit the culture of the Xi'an. So that was kind of interesting from that episode, and it was pretty informative parts. There's parts of it that again I drifted away on a little bit, but. I think it was still worth watching. I'll probably go back and watch it in its entirety when I have a little more time. So since we're going backwards anyway, we'll go over to Around the Verse. This is I was actually really excited about this episode. I thought it was a good overall episode. I don't think it revealed anything amazing other than seeing the actual city rendered. Other than seeing the actual city like actually rendered and them telling the stories of like how they did that, there was nothing that shocked me about it. But I still thought it was a decent episode to see. So we'll go through everybody. We'll start out. I know some of you guys Rotten Tomatoes out there. We'll start with Uber Nerd though this time, and we'll see what were your thoughts about ATV. We'll start out with just the part about the bugs and stuff, because that was a majority of the episode.
Burndown was what I was most excited about. Mm-hmm. Yes, I like seeing all the information about the tech and how they develop it and all that other stuff. But to me, I went back and listened to it a couple times, even on stream with my viewers, right after this part where they show this, where Todd Pappy starts talking. Mm-hmm. So what Todd Pappy was talking about was how they are now starting to meet with all the directors and all the PMs, and they're doing a go no go for a release candidate for the PTU, right?
Yeah.
And they are looking at all of this stuff in terms of a minimal viable product. So that what is it? What is the best case or worst case scenario in terms of bugs or whatever or not, and they want to get it out as fast as possible. So they just it was really cool to see, to hear Todd Pappy talk about this, and the others kind of didn't talk too much about it, except for one other guy in there who he was actually talking about the bugs that he was working on, and how that they were telling him, we're going to go to PTU regardless if you're finished with those bugs, and just let those bugs be pounded out in. And he didn't say. I'm kind of like taking his and extrapolating out what I was hearing from them, but they are really like invested in getting this out to the PTU very quickly, and you could tell by what Todd Pappy was saying. You could tell by what some of the others were saying. Of course, Eric Kinder Davis always holds it close to the vest, but Todd Pappy was kind of open about, we want to get this out. We want to get, so it was pretty cool. And he said they're going to go over the, within the next 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to see some big, kind of pushes.
Right on.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but they're going to really be pushing for it.
They're still working their ass off. I mean, that's obvious, and they're illustrating that and stuff. Yeah, definitely. And drones, how about you? What you were thinking of the whole bug section, the burn down, and all that stuff, and.
We went over this at length on my stream, and it's definitely looking good. Like I noticed that during the entirety of the ATV, they mentioned PTU like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. So they're kind of dropping hints everywhere that like they want to get this done and out.
Well, that's what they're burning down too, right? We're burning down to PTU, not live, but PTU.
Right. And then from PTU, it'll be a burn down to live.
Absolutely.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think they'll feel a lot better about having it in the PTU burning down to live than they do right now. Because right now, out of sight, out of mind, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's hard for them to get mind share when people are like, oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
The mind share that people are going to get when you drones first land inside of a crater, or you, Mitauchi, are speeding through some, some imitation of the Grand Canyon or something like that. I mean, the first time people get to your screen and go, "Oh my God, what game is this?"
Yeah.
That's the mind share that these guys want just as badly as we do. And I think that they're kind of being pushed now. Yeah, let's get it to the PTU, because I think they believe that it is really close to being. Yeah, I mean,
playable.
It's not. Well, it's not like the 2.0 release was, right? It is according to what they've been saying, light years beyond what the 2.0. I mean,
everything they've done, but I think they're testing it more thoroughly than what we did with 2.0, right? I mean, everything they've built up. If one thing I can give CIG huge amounts of credit for this last year has been their process of like trying to root out these bugs, trying to expand their QA team, trying to do things in a manner that prevents a 2.0 from happening again. Right, because 2.0 was a train wreck, and it literally, when they launched it out to us, it went from basically a QA standpoint to us, and they've learned so much from that point in time. They've developed, the Evocati, they've done all this stuff.
I think they may have held 3.0 back a little too long, whereas they pushed 2.0 out way too soon.
I think they could have released a different 3.0 mid-year. It wouldn't be what this is, but I think they could have had a candidate they could have released.
No, I disagree, because first they needed to have it would have been way more work if they had to still switch from the old patcher to the new, right?
I agree.
Part of the wait is the patch. They were like, well, okay, so how much time would we have? How much more work would we have to do? They would have to then repack all this stuff.
You were just saying that they held it too long. In that case, then they couldn't have held it too long.
No. I'm saying they held it in Evocati too
long. Not from the feedback I've been seeing on Evocati. It sounds like there's still some things they want to do. Maybe they might have been able to push it out to PTU this week. But the last couple of weeks, it was still, for majority of people, if you believe what you're seeing out there, they're still having some major issues.
I don't pay attention to any of that. What I'm saying is, it's not so much like it wouldn't have been like the 2.0. It wouldn't.
It definitely wouldn't have been that.
Right. But it's definitely still would have been buggy. I'm saying they're so gun shy that they almost don't want to have any visible bugs while they are going
to PTU. Yeah.
So
Well, every other word out of their mouth this week was polish, 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 polish.
Which is
right, and see, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. What Drone said, that or not Drones, but Toy said was that the polish, polish, polish. Them saying that so much and working on that so. I think too much. I don't think we need the polish now. I think PTU is where polish is supposed to happen, not Evocati. Stop doing that in Evocati. Just get it working, even if just the bare bones, and then polish, polish, polish.
I think that's all marketing department on them, though. You know what I mean? I really believe that.
Like I said, they're gun shy now because, like you said, the 2.0 release was an absolute train wreck.
It was, but really wasn't. In hindsight, it wasn't a huge problem for us as the user. But I think PR wise, I think that's what they're worried about because they get so much they verbally hype themselves up a lot, right? Because their marketing department doesn't have a huge amount to work with at the time when 2.0 dropped. So they said, hey, check out this 2.0 candidate. It's going to be hot. Check it out, blah, blah, blah. And it came out with bugs. Well, yeah, it's a test version. It should have bugs that we work through. But I think because they did that, they caught so much backlash in the media about it because they're hyping it all up for all that. This way, they're saying how cool it's going to be, but they're kind of downplaying it a little bit, and softening it. So when it comes out, it's going to blow up because it's going to be like, holy crap, we've seeded it. We're making sure it's polished. We're going to do all that. And I agree with you. I think maybe they could have had something a little bit earlier from the Evocati process, but I also get their reservation of wanting to make sure it's polished. And that's just because hopefully this PTU launch goes really smooth, right? For the most part, I still expect bugs. Don't expect too much, guys. But it's going to go smoother than 2.0, and they're going to have a way to recover real easy with the Delta patcher in place. And because of all that, they should get a good fair amount of media hype.
But also remember that this is at least 20 times bigger.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're going from basically one station little area to, pretty much an entire solar system.
Yep.
So
I'd say it's almost a scale of when we had only Arena Commander to go to 2.0, right? To have even a small section universe was so much bigger than the little, 8x8 ball that we dog fought in, and that was it. To go to that, now you're going, let's multiply that again by the same amount of folds, so you're getting actually a section of the solar system.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think I don't know, we'll have to see what is in, but didn't they say that they're working on orbital mechanics or something like that? Like
Yes.
We'll have to see. And I read through that.
Well, I remember when they talked about they had to turn off. Remember that some of the rotation stuff or something, they had to turn off briefly because they had an issue where people were flipping backwards in their beds or something like that. And, and all those things. So again, it's something they were working on mitigating. I don't remember the follow through on that. Like I think they said they got that resolved. I don't know how they. I love
the difference here though. So when we saw the schedule report today, the difference was 179 versus what we see here is 197, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm very very happy about that.
The schedule report right in here. Yeah. 179.
Yep. But again, Todd Pappy seemed to be indicating that this was not this did not have to read 0 in order for them to go to a PTU. What they did have to have was a go, no go, like a go from all of the heads of the departments saying, the rest. But
they also said it wouldn't be for 2 weeks. No, they said it would be at least 2 weeks. Oh yeah.
No, Todd Pappy said he's going to be checking on it next week and the week after. He didn't say it'll be at least 2 weeks.
Well, I don't know. The impression I got is it wouldn't be out for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, because if they say this week and the week after, I assume that might also be partially with the holiday coming up and everything else. And
maybe.
And some of that. Because
we'll see. I mean,
I would assume a lot of people are going to miss their Christmas holiday a little bit, so they're probably trying to give them a little bit of Thanksgiving because they know what happens at the end of the year all the time, right? So that's kind of normal.
Well, actually, they have the vast majority of people will not be celebrating Thanksgiving. the vast majority of CIG doesn't live in the United States.
Yep.
Right. So I would say more than 2/3 of their employees are in Europe. And they got the biggest contingent in Manchester. And then they have almost 100. What is it? 80 something, 82 or 83 now in Frankfurt.
I don't doubt all times a year there'll be people working on stuff, but I would say the people that say go or no go may or may not be there on some of those occasions. That would be the thing, because even the people living overseas, majority of them, I would believe, would celebrate Thanksgiving. Majority of them, not all, for sure. I know not all for sure, but at the same time, let's get Toy's impressions real quick. I know you kind of spoke on some anyway, Toy, but for this portion that we're talking about here, what are your takeaways from the Burndown overall?
Well, I mean, all I can really add is some that. I mean, I love watching the 10 Commandments, but freaking 6 hours of Burndown is just too much for me.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. I mean, I understand they got some stuff to work through. I want to give them all the time they need to get it perfect. But give us some other fluff stuff. I don't want them to sit and talk about every single stupid bug they come across on this thing that's keeping it from coming out. That's great. Work through the damn bugs on your own time. ATV is about showing us upcoming stuff or some new technology or something.
I don't think you're going to get that until after the new year. I really don't at this rate. I think we're
going
to
get... that we're not.
We're not.
That's why I'm salty about it.
Yeah, we're going to get snippets. And I like, respectively, I like the Burndown. I like seeing behind-the-scenes stuff because I'm kind of a people watcher like that. I'm good with that. But at the same time, I agree with you. I like to see new tech. I like to see things revisited. But I also understand why CIG is not doing this. Right now, they're only providing us a behind-the-scenes. ATV's become a behind-the-scenes, really, right? What we expected from previous things like the behind-the-scenes CitizenCon that wasn't a behind-the-scenes CitizenCon, ATV is the behind-the-scenes every week. Whether you're talking about that, whether you're talking about how they're developing the procedural cities, how they're doing the language, that is our behind-the-scenes is ATV now. And it's just, this is some of the current stuff.
It was 5 minutes at the end of an hour-long program.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what were they going to go and talk about with the procedural cities that it really didn't kind of cover at CitizenCon?
I would rather see the guy flying around for an hour than them talk about bugs for an hour and show me 5 minutes of the program. I mean, build one for us, for the ATV. That would be cool. Put one together, show us all the tiles that you click and check that make different cityscapes and stuff like that.
I get what you're saying, but they've been very clear that not every show is for every viewer. So they're targeting people that they want to see particular things each week. So I can see them mixing it up with that. Like, that's not going to surprise me. Every week, sure, that shouldn't be a thing. But,
I'm convinced
I do know they've been clear about that.
I think Burndown's a permanent fixture on the thing. I think, personally, Burndown should be its own show.
I like Burndown a lot.
I think it should be its own show.
I think for me, the reason why is because I like that microscope into their project management, into their directors. What the directors have to say. I want in Burndown though. I want more of the directors to speak up rather than less, with kind of, I like hearing Aaron Roberts, what he has to say, although he's been, in a couple of them, he's been a little bit
salty.
Like, oh my, come on, guy. Yeah, salty, right?
Yeah, a little bit salty.
But it's nice to see. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because see the passion behind it. I agree 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so these guys are as frustrated with, with things as we are. And
they're definitely not sitting there going, hey, Aaron, 3, 2, 1, now act like you're mad about this. That's like just real,
The passion is real, that makes me feel better about, the stuff that they're bringing to us. The project management side of me says, oh, yeah, I really like this in Burndown. Now, when they start going into too much detail, I think that you need to take that stuff out and either make more Bug Smashers or something like that, as a separate thing. When they start to go into too much detail about the bugs, right? We don't need to know that so much. We had these bugs, we had these bugs, we had these bugs. Then a bit of the discussion around the boardroom table. Then, okay, we solved that, and then we went to the next thing. We had these bugs, we had these bugs. I don't want to hear, okay, so then I moved this number over to this, and these long, in-depth discussions about that, which should be reserved for Bug Smashers.
It does seem like there's
my only complaint.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover there, I think, with Bug Smashers is where they're getting. Because you notice, like, from episode to episode, the Burndown is becoming more and more of the ATV. Is Burndown, and like toys.
Yeah, this last one was the lion's share of the ATV. So
absolutely.
And I was like, nah, I don't like that. I mean, look, I like the Burndown, and I liked the initial ones that they had, where that was mostly about the meetings and what they talked about in the meetings, and how the managers talked with the programmers, and how they talked with the art directors, and how they all that I liked, because that gives a better dynamic, a better look at the operations of CIG, and that makes me feel better about the whole project as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, don't get me wrong, I did like the one little section where he talked about how the ship screen was too small, so they had to come up with another solution. So they created new assets to put bigger screens on. I like that little section.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't want to sit and watch their meetings. You know what I mean?
Oh, see, that's where you and me differ.
Yeah, I like the
I like the meetings.
I want to watch their meetings. I want to see them.
I would watch an entire episode of their meetings.
Yeah, me too.
I would.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like you're a fly on the wall, right? You get to see some of the stuff there, and even though we know there's probably a million things said or seen where Chris goes, "No, don't show that. No, we can't show that. No, that's okay. That one's good. These three, no. And that's fine. But at the same time, I still, whether you love or hate Burndown, I am an advocate for it becoming its own show, because that allowed. They say, well, Burndown's not for everybody. That's fine. What makes better sense, just like Bug Smashers isn't for everybody, it becomes its own show. The reason they're not separating it yet is because I don't believe they have ATV content. I don't believe they have a lot of personnel, and they don't want to invest a lot of time and try and do that, especially before the 3.0 drop.
Yeah,
they don't want to do
you're
that.
Right about that.
Yeah.
I think also, though, what is ATV? Around the verse.
Yeah,
they're not producing anything that matches that acronym anymore.
No, that's the whole thing needs to be changed. It should be Burndown or behind the scenes is what it should be. ATV could come back, but let's bring ATV back in its full setting, post 3.0 launch, cruise around the studios, see the newest, latest development stuff, bring some of that stuff back. And they don't change any of the format.
Needs to be more of kind of like a weekly news report, and but the problem is that they don't have enough. They don't have the right person who is more of a newsie to do it in a news-like style. They did it early on, though. They did. There were people in.
I feel like even really and people are going to cringe. I feel like Ben did a great job, and it's almost like an inside joke, right? Because every time Ben does the Citizen of the Stars of the guys, he always wants to do the around the verse thing at the end, right? He's always like, "And I'll see you later," like he wants to say around the verse every time. And I just feel like around the verse was the Ben and Disco show in the beginning, and then it's like kind of Ben and Sandy and all that stuff, and Disco peeled off, did his thing, but it was always Ben and Sandy, and it was great because they would just kick it to a different studio. You got different studios and new innovations.
Notice how they
and stuff.
still have the ATV format. So what do they start off with? It looks like they're sitting at a news desk. It looks like they're getting ready to report the news, but it's not really the news so much. I mean, okay, so Burndown really is. But again, they have things in there, like I was saying, they really need to have it be more of this, not so much as the deep dives into the bugs. That needs to go off, and maybe we need maybe 2 Bug Smashers if they have that.
Or since Mark's so busy, it should just be Bug Smashers. That portion should be, because they're rotating other devs working on bugs anyway.
Yeah.
Why not have
There's
that
more
be
people
Bug
working on
Smashers
bugs.
and Mark introduces it, and it's just like he just does the intro, and then it's just the devs working on those bugs. So for a deeper dive on what's keeping up 3.1 or whatever, Bug Smashers,
they
and
could
do that.
switch Bug Smashers to be once a week, and you know, how many devs have we seen in the last, I don't know, 4 weeks talking about bugs on the Burndown? And they actually get pretty deep. We got the long-haired guy from Germany, we got the short-haired guy from the UK, we got that Dutch guy. There's a whole bunch of different guys. I don't remember any of their names just because they fly by on the screen, but they get into depth and they really want to talk about this stuff. I say let them, and that would really free up Mark to, you know, him being the guy saying, that's okay, and give a little instructions, and that's it. He
should be the guy who just does the intro for Bug Smashers, because he's the main dude, and we know he's
he can do a Bug Smashers
when it loosens up a little bit. I'd say why not,
or once every 6 weeks or something like that.
Rotate it through different
people out there. Yeah, I mean, there's enough people out there that I think Bug Smashers could be spread out. It could be done once a Tuesday rather than once every 2 weeks.
And it gives credit to these guys who work behind the scenes on fixing crap. That's the great thing about
it. They want to talk about it.
They do. They want to talk about this interesting bug they came across and how they fixed it, because, you know, and we want to know. We do want to know. In many cases, like, we want to see that bug. We want to know, like, how they fixed it. And isn't it cool? Think about this. When we go to PTU and we're doing a lot more issue council stuff publicly and all that, wouldn't it be cool to see a bug that we've nominated up the thing and actually see the end result? You'd see the flow through. We report it up. It goes top the list. You see it get fixed, and you see the result of that on a Bug Smashers. That would be badass, I think, because that gives people the confidence.
That would be awesome.
That lets everybody out there in the audience know your reports mean something, and they do matter, and they do actually get worked on, because you can see the result.
How about
of
that network guy? He was talking about, remember the bug, you know, the automatic crash handler?
Yes.
Where it submits the crashes.
Yes.
And then he was writing a script to sort those better so that they could make better use of it. Not only to find out what was causing the crashes, but to start tracking that stuff down so that they could then go in and start fixing the net code. And then, and actually, wasn't it one of those bugs that came from him fixing up the crash handlers that they were like, oh, check this. Oh, and they fixed it. And all of a sudden, oh, now we can get 60 people in the server.
Yeah.
You know, it was like something that they had fixed made it possible for them to increase the player count without reducing the
last couple of times I played Star Marine, and the last couple of times we played in the PU, I don't know if they're making network changes. I know they haven't updated anything client side, right? Because we haven't had any updates on 2.63.
Right.
But I was getting 45 to 50 frames in the PU on the last time I played it, and it did spike back down. I was like,
so the servers in terms of the code that is for the servers themselves has been improved by a huge amount.
Yeah.
This is what they've said, to allow the FPS to go up.
Yep.
So the server code has changed, and they said this has allowed them to change the client code too. So 3.0, we're going to see client code, which will make better use, because didn't they say they were working with, what is it, 72 cores or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, to use just a god-awful amount of cores.
i9's pre-order, let's do it.
Yeah. So basically they were saying they could use as much, you know, the more cores you have, the more cores that will be used, and it will better, it'll spread the workload across all these cores and increase your performance. So
and if anybody watched me even stream over when I did with the Intel at TwitchCon, we saw, even though it wasn't using more cores, the faster cores when we were using the Extreme series of processors out there, that was a huge difference. That was only 16 gigs. That's half the amount of gigs on the machine stats of what I was using out there compared to what I have at home. And we were getting incredible frames, huge responsiveness, because in the unoptimized build of 2.63, it is so CPU contingent and heavy that it was just taking full advantage on it, sidestepping people and all that stuff. It's so exciting to hear that the client is going to be utilizing more and more of this multi-threading with all the different cores and stuff, because that means as we get in these newer 6th, 7th gen processors, even some of the new AMD stuff, you're going to have better optimization, faster movement, better responsiveness on all the clients across the board. It's going to be really exciting, because it's not so much our graphics cards aren't the bottleneck right now.
So think about this as well, guys, that, you know, these 16 thread, 8 core, 16 thread CPUs, like I bought mine for $290. Yeah. extraordinarily cheap.
Yep.
And this is gonna, once they get these new optimizations into the client side, oh my God, a Ryzen 7 CPU is going to just jump up in performance way above any.
Yep.
The i7 7700K will get waffle stomped by a processor that's cheaper than it.
Yep.
Because of the thread count, not because
Absolutely.
of the single core performance, right?
Yep.
And so that's what they're looking at doing, and I think that's great for a lot of people who don't have a lot of money, because then there is also the what is it, the Ryzen R5s or whatever, or the six core the 6-core 12
I don't speak AMD, so I'll trust you on it.
Anyway, so it's the 6-core 12-thread CPUs, which are even cheaper. I think they're like $160 or $180 to buy one. They're really cheap, and the motherboards are like $70. So, you could build a system that will really play Star Citizen really well for not a lot of money, and that's good for a lot of people out there who just don't have a lot of money to spend.
And I'll reiterate, the processor is so important when it comes to Star Citizen. The processor is. I've talked to a lot of people that were like, hey, they're doing upgrades, and they got a second or third gen, i5 or something like that, and they're like, hey, I'm going to get a 1080 card. Hey, I'm like, it would be so much better to upgrade your motherboard and processor than anything if you want that responsiveness and stuff in there. And it's just super exciting to hear about this. Like, another thing with the Extreme processor, when I was streaming at TwitchCon, I was running XSplit on the same machine. It wasn't like my stream rig where it was separate. I was running all that on one machine and still getting better performance than what my $3,000 machine at home was.
Like butter.
It was insane. It was insanely good. So I will reiterate that. So sometimes, because I always wondered, why would I buy this Extreme processor? Stats don't look that much better on it, for the price. And after playing Star Citizen on it, I'm definitely considering buying the high-end stuff next time for the processor.
Yeah.
I
like I like the fact that there's a whole new generation of processors coming out with a whole bunch of threads.
Yes.
And that a company like CIG is taking full advantage of that. Not to mention, guys, they are going full on into Vulcan. This is a step in the right direction. This is a way of saying, hey, all of this hardware out there exists to be taken advantage of, and yet none of these previous APIs have done it even close, which is why we have these games that are being produced, this last year or this year that look like they could have been produced, in 2011, and you're like going, well, what? I mean, and it's not just the fact that people are making games to be played on console and on PC. But it also is the fact that they do not know, it's too OpenGL and DirectX have been too complex in terms of how they implement between the game code and the machine, the hardware itself, right? That connection has been too much. They've had to rely too much on the programmer themselves and not enough on the API, which Vulcan changes that completely. So I'm really excited about it. Because that's going to do a lot for people.
I can't wait to see that when it's fully implemented and we all have it and stuff. It's going to be a game changer. We can start using that again, right? Because we already had the game.
No,
but that's a serious game changer.
That's real game changer, not just Star System related. That's across the board.
No, and that's when I think when they are going to be able to start really implementing the object container system, the zone system, the serialized variables. All of that stuff will really come into its own when Vulcan is fully implemented. Yep. Because what that does is that means that they are going to be able to, vastly increase the player count while keeping that, that performance at a high level.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we went from that, and then a couple other quick notes there we saw from some of the breakdown on that. We said 179 issues now. Originally, they had said it like 197. All the shopping bags and tasks are done with over 150 resolved, hoping to move to feature complete status on all the shopping bugs. So they're very close, if not completely done with every bug-related shopping, which was what actually wasn't just a moderate issue. That was a blocker. That was actually one of their blockers, was the shopping dynamic, and they're past that hurdle, and they're just wrapping some stuff up. The item 2.0 ships focus is almost completed, starting Friday. Triage for minimal viable product in the next 2 weeks begins. So there's still some of the other guys, like the notes I got from the relay guys and some of the other stuff, still thinks this is still at least 2 weeks out before we get a final push or whatever. And I assume that's from the language we got from Pappy, where he was like saying you check out this week and next week. So the presumption is that he's assuming it's going to be 2 weeks. That doesn't mean it wouldn't drop sooner, but more than likely just be prepared for 2 weeks plus, and then won't be pissed.
So that what I read from it was his hope was that they could get it, like they're going to do a check. They're doing daily checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they over the next 2 weeks, they're going to be pushing for that minimum viable product. It doesn't mean that it is going to be next week, or that it is guaranteed going to take 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That is in this 2 week period from now until 2 weeks from now. Is this okay? Are we good today? No. Okay. Next day. Are we good today? No? Okay. And that's what they're going to go through.
Yeah, they're setting their expectations.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Now, the thing that I'm, I thought about the visibility, about the mind share, about all that other stuff that also come in with the anniversary sale, right? Which starts on the 24th and ends on the 4th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing that I was going to say was that I don't believe they will be able to have enough mind share if they don't have something visible for new people to see. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because what happens in like last year's anniversary sale, I bet you anything, if we saw the numbers, the vast majority of ships were bought with store credit.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
All of us, so, I'd say most of the time.
I think if, So what happens if they have a visible 3.0, even if it's not something you can actually get into yet, but the promise of 2 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks for, just your average new player to be able to get into 3.0 doesn't mean anything because they can't see squat, right? It doesn't mean anything. It could be, it might as well be 2 years. For as far as the new person is concerned, right? Because they don't see anything. The Evocati is super secret, private, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's in the PTU where you're streaming it and Drones is streaming it and, oh my God, Toy is streaming it. if we're all streaming I'm just messing with you. But still, if we're all streaming it and, all the streamers who actually have access to the PTU are streaming it, all of a sudden the mind share is massive. The anniversary sale is going to get a lot more attention. There's going to be a lot of people going, ooh, I want that. Ooh, because they're going to be looking at the streams. They're going to be seeing us in there with these big ships, me flying Caterpillar, you flying a Starfarer, or, the new Cutlass Black and whatever, right? We're going to be out there racing along the surface of the moon. All that stuff is going to encourage people to purchase with cash because they won't have the store credits. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They'll be the new people.
Yeah.
But if we don't have that mind share for the sale, once again, it'll be mostly store credits. Yes, there'll be a few people that do some CCUs with cash. Most of it will be store credits. So that was why I think they are really pushing. Todd Pappy kind of made, over the next 2 weeks, we'll be looking for a minimum viable product. This is why they're using that term again, too, I think. Because they're like going, oh, my God, let's just get it to the PTU as fast as possible, right?
Absolutely.
But the PTU is still a test environment, so
it is.
That's still a CYA.
But it's a public test environment where that's a huge difference, like what you were talking about as far as visibility goes, as far as like kind of being the close to the vest advertisement of the game, right? Where we're putting ourselves out there, showing what it's all about, doing those things. And with it being streamed and YouTubed and everything else, I mean, it's just getting out there a lot more on social media. And that's huge. That's huge for the entire group. So, very.
You know what else is huge?
I don't
the anniversary sale. They said 2 ships.
Well,
at least 2.
I think that goes back to like what Ubernerd was saying.
2 ships.
The 2-ship deal, and this is my opinion, is because, again, they're not seeing a lot of new... I mean, they're seeing a chunk of new money. Let's be honest. They are. But I think they could actually get more funding and more money if they had something new to show us, too. Because a lot of us, we look at the anniversary sale as... hey, this is a time for us to reallocate our fleet. We want, I don't want this ship. I want to be able to get this one. I'm going to swap around here. I'm going to do that. As a streamer, that's when I usually stockpile up my giveaway ships and then melt them all.
Right.
Each day, I was like, let's buy 5 Hornets and let's melt all these. And then I have more ammo for those things. So there's a lot of money just being rolled over repeatedly inside there.
There's not a lot of new money.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying... And I saw Thrace, he was saying he doesn't want new players to buy more than a starter package until they understand that it's a pledge and not a purchase. Yeah, that is a problem, kind of, except that, at least on my channel, I make sure that it's always, you only have to buy the basic pack. The rest of it is just pledging money for the further development of this game. And yes, they give you a kind of a door prize for pledging that level, right? And it still doesn't mean, and then I have to explain to a lot of people, which I just want to do a little bit here, that when the game goes live, does anybody really think you're going to be able to hop right into your Javelin and go out there and start doing jobs?
What? I can't?
Yes.
You will not be able to do any of those things. Well, not a job that would pay you UEC. So you couldn't go and say, hey, I've got a Javelin NPC, give me the job that would pay enough to pay. You know what I'm saying? It's like no NPC.
You don't have the rep.
You don't have a rep.
Right.
You need a rep to get the job, right? So everybody's going to start off really in the small ships, or if they want to start in their larger ships, they're going to be losing money until their reputation equals the job that they can get that would then pay for the operations of their ship. So it's all about, yes, you may see ships right off the bat in the beginning, but you can look at them and go, ha ha, they're losing money.
To be fair, the only profession that you could do off the bat and try to get some sort of discernible income, and in my opinion, you still wouldn't make enough to pay for the cost to use the ship, is piracy. Right? If you had enough game cards and stuff like that, you could go out and be a pirate.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could either, because remember, I think that the stolen goods, I think piracy is even less of a chance, because I think all of the stolen goods won't be able to be sold to other players. You're really going to have to sell the pirates, and they're even less trusting than the lawful NPCs in the sense that if you're coming in, they'll be like, "Are you trying to entrap me? Hey, Guido, kill that guy," right? Because they're not going to trust you at all.
It really depends if you're going to be able to sell the components to other players or not. Which I don't. I know you can't sell the ships, but we don't know the parameters around that. They said you should be able to, but we don't know. Because they already said they're going to appreciate the value of ships a huge amount for resale to NPCs. So we don't know what type of mitigations they want to do there.
But cargo is different.
Supposedly.
If you possess the cargo, it's yours. If somebody steals it for you, it's theirs. It doesn't say stolen on the cargo.
No, but remember, pricing is everything. Now, if you steal the cargo from... so, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, but remember, you're selling the cargo, you're not selling to a player, you're selling it to an NPC. What I think, if you have almost no or zero reputation, I don't think you will see good prices. I think the prices you see will also be based on your reputation.
I think you are going to be able to sell it to players.
Or whatever.
I think you are going to be able to sell cargo to players.
That would be my understanding.
So I think...
why wouldn't I be able to sell you stuff?
Not until the mechanic's not in now, but I'm saying by beta, I would think you'd be able to sell that cargo to other players. I don't know the rules around it, though, because they are going to allow some sort of that.
I would say that you would be able to sell contracts to other players and say, I don't want to finish this delivery contract here. I'll, you sell this contract to another player, and you take a little on the side. You sell it for more than you purchased it for, but it's all about contracts and not about the actual cargo. So they still have to fulfill the mission. There's going to be
quests where it's going to be a race to get to the cargo. You know what I mean? So you could say somebody stole it from you. I could just say I got to it first.
Oh,
know what
well,
I mean?
recovery missions, there are recovery missions that are first come, first serve. One of the things that, if the cargo is out in the middle of space or, strewn across the surface of a planet and it is currently unclaimed, once you pick it up and put it into your cargo hold, and your cargo hold is not a part of a crashed ship, it's immediately claimed by you. But it doesn't do you any good until you can return it to the rightful owner, so to speak.
Now,
right?
they have dabbled with the idea, and I'm still against it, of cargo insurance, weapon insurance, accessory insurance. So to me, there would have to be a form of possession over all these elements and cargo and stuff until you take it, just
They
like a
did
ship.
say that there is physical possession, right? If you have something in your possession, that's physical possession. If you go into like having a ship or versus a gun, if I go on board your ship, I take a gun out of there and I leave there, I'm not going to be instantly tagged a criminal unless I do it within the visibility of
If there's some way they track
camera.
it, yeah.
Some way to track it, right?
Yeah,
but if
absolutely.
it's on, you land on a surface of a planet, I come across your ship and you're off tooling around on your bike, and I go into your ship, take a gun and leave. I put that gun in my ship. It's mine. It's not yours anymore. You can't even identify. I mean, I could go and then fly to Port Olisar. Nobody would know that it was a stolen gun. It's not, you know what I'm saying?
This has got a VIN number on the weapon.
Well, and that could be it as well. They could have serial numbers on the weapons, so that forces you to go to the black market to say, "Hey, give me. I need some new. Serial numbers for my weapons
And
here."
even though it'd be dicky to do, you remember how they talked about the serialized variables and how every item in the game is an independent item. It's like that's how things degrade. Everything could be tracked theoretically as an individual item. That means you could have VINs on every piece of component, every piece of equipment, because it's its own individual snowflake. It's not just, even though it might be one unit of 20 of these power converters or whatever, it is still individually 20 individual power converters. I mean, any damage that happens to an individual one, anything like that, that's how it's tracked. So they could say, hey, unless you clean these or something, they are considered Joe's cargo, even though you took them from him. Because the same way ship's thievery will work, if I steal Toy's ship and it becomes my possession, if he makes a claim, it depreciates the value of my ship because his ship is marked as stolen, but he's gotten his money back from that ship through his insurance company to get another ship, theoretically. You could do that with cargo as well. I just don't like the idea of people being able to insure every aspect of everything in the game, which I know they've gone back and forth on, because then it's like loss becomes less and less meaningful. I'm fine with the holes, but not everything.
They will allow for, so there are even in, that they insure those giant container ships versus being wrecked, and they don't do for certain acts of nature. You get a bigger return than, say, for instance, if you're going through the straits of somewhere over in the Middle East and you get jacked by pirates or something like that, right? So there are different types of losses that you will cost you more or less. Some of it will pay for the full cargo. There's a lot of that, but they don't insure individual cargo containers. That's not the job of the shipper. That's the job of the person who owns the cargo in that container. So it's like if I am shipping a bunch of stuff for Shubin Mining Corporation, like mining equipment, right? So I'm shipping a bunch of mining equipment for Shubin Mining. I shouldn't have to buy insurance for the cargo. Shubin Mining should have to buy the insurance for the cargo.
Yeah.
My insurance covers my ship and the other modules that I install in my ship if they are upgraded. That's fine with me. Upgraded weapons, upgraded modules. I
agree 100%.
That's fine. But the insurance on the cargo should be something that is carried by the owner of the cargo. You're just moving it from point A to point B. You're
depending on how the terms of the contract work. I agree that's the way the liability should be with the owner of the cargo. Just like if I pay for insurance through UPS, I'm paying because I'm the one paying them to move it across, and I can choose to have extra insurance or not, and then I make a claim, and that's all handled by their insurance company and all that stuff through me buying the extra insurance. Now, that being said, if you guys have any questions in chat, be sure to put exclamation mark questions. It takes you over to a form link that we actually will answer those during the second half of the show. But I will bring up a question real quick that Tsunami had and mentioned in chat here. He said, that's a nightmare. You say salvaging something off a stolen ship, how would you know it was illegal? And there is actually a way to know that, and they've addressed this earlier this year in some of the ATVs and different questions they had. They said when a ship goes into a wreck, when it's been wrecked, that owner of that ship has two options. He has a time in which he can come back and try to recover his ship, right? Or he decides to say, F it, I'm just going to make an insurance claim on that ship. At that point, that ship gets marked as salvage. Then it's first come, first serve, whoever's going to come get that wreck as that. That was the current plan as of 3 months ago of what they were talking about doing. So once you actually make a claim on the ship, even though it becomes a derelict wreck, whether it's in space or underground, and then it is salvageable by anybody, any company, all that stuff. If it is still in a state of a wreck as floating out there, per Tony Z, then if a pirate or anybody nefarious comes up and gets on that ship, it will still be ID'd as the owner. The ship owner is 6182101. If you decide to venture into that wreck, you can do it, but it is an illegal action, and if you are in monitored space, you will be flagged as a criminal for touching somebody else's crap.
Is it just me, or does that sound like a lot like Eve Blue and White Rex?
I know, right? So I was like, more
like,
Eve
that was
mechanics.
the first thing I was like,
so,
what?
But that's how they want to do it, because they want to offer an amount of time for people to try to come back and get their stuff if they want. But if they just if they respawn, or if they died, if they spawn somewhere else, and they just go, oh, insurance claim, and their timer starts and does all that, then it's automatically becomes salvage, and it's anybody's game out there.
Maybe what they should do is that for legitimate salvage ships, for legitimate salvagers, you go out there and you make a salvage claim on a derelict ship, and then that claim goes in there and alerts to the person who actually owns the ship, and unless they've already made the claim to the insurance, right? So so the claim to the insurance will create a job, but at the same time, if you come across it without knowing about that job that's been created, you can go click on that ship, you have to maybe go into it, find the VIN number, click on the VIN number, and then say, make claim. And then it will tell you, bleep, bleep, bleep. Oh, okay, you got the claim. So then the job would then disappear. And if somebody had taken that job and they're on their way, wreck has been claimed. And you're like, God,
absolutely.
dang it.
Because there was an interesting question somebody had several SpaceBro shows ago, and what was related to, he said, okay, well that works like that, but if I make a claim on that ship and the ship's a wreck out there, say it's my ship, I got in a fight, I lost a battle, there you go, I make a claim on it, what's to prevent me from going back and getting that ship? And the answer is, since it works just like in real life, when you make an insurance claim on your automobile or anything else that's been wrecked, the insurance company now owns that, not you. They bought that from you with that money. So if you ran back out to your own wreck and essentially tried to retrieve your wreck or any of the components thereof, you are essentially stealing from the insurance company. So therefore, you could be the one in trouble. So the salvage claims, I think, will work like what Uber Nerd said. I think it'll be, okay, this guy made a claim, or it's out there, you go up, you could scan it, maybe close proximity, there's a vent area or something on that, and then that will create a job. And that's basically for like maybe 100 UEC or whatever. The insurance company's like, oh, they'll sell you that job, and the wreck's all yours. Good to go. There you go. So it makes sense that way, because they're giving up the salvage rights for like a very small fee, so the insurance company didn't have to run all over and pick up these wrecks. They're just like, we'll make a tiny bit off the top, or maybe nothing at all, and then you get to salvage it up. Or you could just go in nefariously and just do it to it and take your chances. So that's going to be a real fun mechanic in itself, because you're going to have people like tow truck drivers driving around, seeing a wreck, just stalking, just like they do now, right? Like ambulance chasers. Like,
no, for sure.
Oh, yeah, we're waiting.
Sure. And people are going to see a wreck. They're going to go up to it. If it's a wreck of some player's ship that got, really chopped or whatever, they're going to go, because and this also comes into the play mechanic of, you've got these drones inside of the reclaimer, for example.
Yep.
Well, you get into your drone room, fly out your drone, you go into the freelancer or the constellation that's been wrecked, and you find that VIN number, you find that the identifier number inside of the ship, and then you go, okay, and then they showed us this whole inner thought thing. It'll just say, because it's a wrecked, all the other inner thought active things are gone because the ship is not working, right? So that's the only one that shows up. You hover over it, you click, and it says make salvage claim. So you click make salvage claim, then it goes, through your mobiGlas or whatever, and it says wait, contacting insurance company. Yeah. And then you wait. And if they deny that, then you better leave it alone, because
unless you don't give a crap if it's high value, you can weigh your options.
Well, right. If you're far enough away from, you're like, well, they're not going to get here in time. You just do it anyways. You're doing illegal salvage, right?
Yeah.
But if they say, oh yeah, hey, great, somebody's there to claim it, and they approve it, then that salvage is yours. Now, this is a cool thing. If somebody else comes in and tries to kipe or steal your salvage, they can become criminals, because you could be like, oh, report, they're stealing my salvage. The insurance company gave me rights to that claim, right?
Absolutely.
So that's going to be cool stuff too, because, and then of course you'll have to defend yourself from pirates who don't give a rat's butt.
Yep. I mean, and again, same rules go. If it's unmonitored space, then as long as that company doesn't show up or pilot to do it, then there's no way to assess criminality on somebody for doing something. If you're operating in a pirate zone and you get wrecked and you respawn, then more than likely your stuff's going to be gone no matter what you do, because you're not going to make it back there unless you're planning to come back really quick and get in another gunfight. So,
well, if everything was insured, you should be able to make the claim, pay the deductible, and get and after the whatever the wait period is, get a new ship. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I hope they don't go heavy-handed on the, hey, you can insure everything, pay insurance for cargo, pay insurance for all your upgraded weapons and all that stuff all the time. I want it to be some loss, that way people aren't just
remember what they said about the overclocked things that are overclocked will not be able to be insured.
That's correct. Once you modify them like that,
much better, but anything that is modified, like better weapons, because they have within the game. Let's just say they have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, right?
Yeah.
And let's say I buy all tier 3s for my guns. I can insure those as long as I don't modify them. But the instant I go and overclock them like you can within an Endeavor, now these guns, they work way better, right?
Yep.
But they're not insurable anymore.
It's like tearing the tags off the pillows and mattresses. You shouldn't do that, but once you do it, it might be more comfy, but they're no longer insurable.
Right.
But anyway, so that's the thing to look forward to as far as all the salvaging stuff. And you can tell both me and Urban Nerd and the rest of the guys get really excited about all that theory craft aspect of that, because it's really cool. We need finalization of the game mechanics, but that's the game mechanics that I know Tony Zervac and the rest of the guys have been talking about. And I hope they stick to those, because that sounds really, really cool. Just to address the rest of the schedule for the activities, as far as what we're looking at, guys, for the anniversary sale. On November 24th, they're going to have Anvil Aerospace. On the 25th, they're going to do Aegis. On 26th, we're going to look at a precursor, again, of the ground vehicles. That'll be super relevant to 3.0 drops, so that'll be cool. And they tacked on alien ships. I think they did that because alien ships were probably the least popular day they did previously, where some people, but not everybody's trying to go get a scout real quick or anything. It's just, that's kind
everybody
of
wants a Banu merchant man. Right?
Yeah, the Banu is probably the hottest one of the alien ships, I think.
Do you guys think it'll
I never wanted a Banu. I was never interested in a Banu.
Yeah, but
I did get a Banu Defender, though.
Yeah.
I do like the Banu Defender.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll go up in price?
Absolutely.
Now that it's 160 meters long versus 100?
I think it will. And the thing I find interesting is they haven't said a peep about if any of these prices are going to increase on any of these, right? We don't know.
Did they say?
Not a word.
Not a word.
Did they say anything about doing selling them for cheaper if you buy it with cash versus with credits?
They haven't
said anything about war bond kind of stuff going on?
Not a word. Not on pricing on the anniversary sale stuff.
Right, because I thought I heard a rumor, and I don't remember where I heard it from. Maybe it was Board Gamer had mentioned something.
Rumors about Star Citizen. What are you talking about?
No.
So, but there was possibility of having war bond prices on all these ships, that if you want to pay cash, you get them cheaper. And I think that's actually
maybe if they do war bond on them, you'll get them at the same price that they have been. Maybe all the credit transfers are going to go up when we see these sales pop.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be the case.
Because they're slowly trying to grind the credit out of us, because they get. I'm not saying they get tired of letting us swap the ships, but God, if I were them, I'd be tired of letting me swap my ships over 100, 200, 300, 400 times. I mean,
I don't think they are. I think they actually don't mind streamers buying, like, you know how you get a pile of a stack.
But
I don't think they mind that. I think it's the other people who are just constantly redoing their fleet and always staying at the same amount. I bought a whole bunch of dragonflies and Noxes and all these.
Oh God, I've got so many Noxes in buyback.
Right.
It's like 3 pages of Noxes.
Ursa Rovers and all this kind of stuff, right? That I bought and melted and bought and melted and bought and melted it. But I have unmelted almost $2,000 worth of stuff since I've been doing that.
Oh my
God! And I think CIG actually. They like when streamers do it because they're going to be unmelting it with cash to gift it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, the vast majority of people, not going to be doing that. So that's a very small subset of people that do what we do, which is buy a crap ton of stuff, buy, melt, and then, over the course of the next year, we'll be unmelting with cash.
Phantom Killer starting rumors up there. It's like Idris M sale rumor. That'd be insane if they started selling Idris M's.
Do you guys think that they will do a limited Idris M sale at all? Like a limited number? Or do you think they'll just do a limited?
I hope not.
I don't think they will.
They did a limited Idris P sale. They had a limited number, right?
They don't like selling military grade weapons. They don't like selling them at all. That's why they came out with the Polaris and the Militia series. But they always want to make this precursory thing that there is always going to be an elite military class above your ship capability. And that works good for the idea of AI, for the idea of if a ship comes in, then you've pissed off enough AI or you've gone bad enough. There will always be something superior to your vessel that will wreck your face if you try to just go into a high security zone. So it suits well for the lore too, in order to keep us common folk as citizens not in military class ships. Not saying that you'll never be able to possess stuff that has good power, but just nothing that should be able to beat up on AI, like the police of the universe, in other words. So I don't know. I don't think the M will be there. They have said that you can mount the railgun on the P. You just have to modify it and upgrade it and all that stuff.
Hey, I think something we haven't talked about, but I wanted to get each one of your guys' opinion on this. Turrets on space stations. Automated turrets on space stations. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yes, absolutely.
I can't believe they didn't build Grimhex with one. Polarisar, I understand because the AI comes in and it's an armistice zone and all this stuff, but it's a pirate station, and you're not going to have a freaking cannon on it? I mean...
Nope.
Should have been there to begin with, I would think. I mean, that would have been it.
Yeah, I would think that.
Not necessarily just
why not?
Not to necessarily fend off us, but just if it was a visual cosmetic presence there for the UEE not to just roll up with their guys, because you would think if it's a pirate station, the UEE would just come in and be like, hey, what's up?
They've also said that they want to do the occasional events where you might be walking around the station and all of a sudden there's a Vandal attack.
Yeah.
Well, it would make sense if the station had a way to defend itself. So if players don't immediately run outside and jump in ships and take care of the problem, maybe over time the station whittles down that fleet of attackers, and that way, it can end the engagement without necessarily requiring players to interact.
To me,
we want players to interact, but
to me, cannons make more sense than having AI flying. Who's going to have people just jump right into it?
Auto turrets on the. Do you think that they will get rid of the armistice zone? Do you think they should?
Yes.
I hope they do, and I think they intend to.
I think I love the warning that you're entering an armistice zone, but you should still have the option to fire if you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It shouldn't automatically just
I agree
lock
100%.
all your weapons.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
put the cannons
I
in.
agree.
It should be declared
the warning.
this is an armistice zone you're entering.
I would
If you
like
do
to
stupid
see.
stuff, there you go.
I would like to see not just the warning, but I'd like to see something that I can toggle that'll keep me from accidentally discharging a weapon in an
That
armistice
was what I
zone.
was just going to say, Drones. That, and I'm so glad you said
Yeah.
that, because one of the things that I hope that they will eventually put into our ships is a way to turn off your weapons.
You know how many times I've
switch
gone to hit
over.
V and dropped a grenade?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
It should just be a safety mode. There should be a button like I don't
Yeah.
want to have to go through like 80 panels. I just want a safety, like a safety
Well,
button.
I just want to.
Yeah, I want to toggle like a function key I hit and it toggles
toggle
on and off.
switch. Turn
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
missiles. Turn off, turn off weapons. Turn off missiles. Boom, like 2 switches. So
Yeah.
you go into the armistice zone with the announcement, like Toy was saying, right? Says, "Warning, warning! You are entering an armistice zones. Please turn off all weapons." So you go in, and you don't have to. If you don't, though, they're going to launch, fighters at you. But if you do turn off the weapons, their scanners will see, okay, thank you for your compliance, or something like that, right? And then you fly in. Your weapons are off. You're not a danger, well, unless you are a potato flyer. But you're not a danger. You've turned off your weapon. So that I like what Toy was saying, because that spurred the thought in my head about the idea of being able to turn off your weapon. So you're entering into the zone. Doesn't force you to turn your weapons off. It asks you nicely, and then if you don't, warning, you still haven't turned off your weapons.
Ed
You will be
209
fired
warning.
upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have 10 seconds to comply. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
power
Right?
down weapons. You have 10 seconds to comply. It's like, oh shit, what button was that? I remapped my keyboard. It's like that'd be hilarious. But,
oh my god, that son of a bitch!
But I also think that opens up to the gameplay that I know I want. I want you to be able to, if you're in a secure area, to make that bad decision of, I'm going to insta-pop this one guy. I'm going to shoot this guy right here.
Yeah.
Say you got a contract to kill this guy and stuff, but you're going to take a huge hit. You're going to be instantly destroyed by all the cannons. All this stuff will happen if you make that choice, but there's plenty of warnings, so it's not like, oop, it's a mistake. But
I don't want insta destroyed by cannons. I want them to be a heck of a, it's a serious, shit show. But I don't want to see you I don't want it to be like they never miss. If you shoot at somebody, you're insta destroyed. That would suck. I want there to be still I want you to be. I want it if you stick around. Heck yes.
I think it depends on the level of security.
And get the hell out, right?
I think it depends on the level of security. Somewhere that's just like a smaller station or just like a random non-military one, like maybe Port Ollie or anything like that. But if you're in a rookie zone, like these are brand new players, all this stuff, I want it to be almost instant death.
Well, no. So if you're in a rookie zone, like Toy was saying, you're not going to get so close to where they're taking off on the pads. The armistice zone goes way out. If you haven't turned your weapons off by the time you get close to the pads, you're already done.
Yeah.
There's no way for you to get close enough, right?
Yeah.
You have to turn off your weapons if you want to get close to those landing pads. That's how they would do that, right? The armistice zone would be huge area of detection. So, but what I'm saying is like the area of detection around Port Olisar would be smaller. You could fly in there. You could maybe then turn on your weapons, take a pot shot at somebody, and then run. Well, maybe you'll escape. Maybe you won't. Right.
And that's like Fender and Brock are talking about the subject in chat right there. About suicide ganking and all that stuff. Yeah, I want, if you're a suicide ganker, that's one thing. But the whole mission set I'm looking at is you want it to make to where, say you're an elite assassin and you're hired to kill somebody. You want that ability, like, if this guy is going to pay me enough money, I'll take the death to go do this hit for him. But it's going to be at a ridiculous amount of money somebody's going to have to pay me in order to cap this guy out.
So I think, and I'm not certain of this, but they've talked about this in the past.
They have.
And it may be one of those things that the death would actually be incapacitation, where you might wake up in a way that, oh shit, I don't have my ship now. I don't have my guns. Oh my God, I'm in freaking prison.
Yeah, they mentioned that, but they said it's probably not fun gameplay. But either way, I'm just saying you want the possibility of that. A ganker's different, and the problem is again, we go back to the verbiage of how do you define what's griefing, how you define what's ganking, because to one guy, it's, oh, I'm ganking him. To the other guy, hey, I was paid to contract to hit him. So, what you don't want
is ganking is usually a bunch of people who are much like what you would call in this game, a bunch of super hornets going in and just blasting these people in auroras that are going, what the heck? Why did I, and usually in the navy or green zone, right? Mm-hmm. Now, those people, but what I'm saying is that I think now that they've got the planets and being able to build these giant locations with internals and all that, they can make the prison planet like they couldn't do before. Mm-hmm. When they were talking about that, when you said, oh, that wouldn't be very good, fun gameplay if you put them in prison. Well, now they could make an entire prison planet where you would have to befriend the local prison gangs. It could be an entire story arc.
It could be.
You got caught assassinating somebody. Sometimes maybe you're at a distance and you get the assassination and you get it done with a sniper rifle and they don't catch you because you're out of there before they try, right?
Yeah.
You got to make your timing right. But if you get caught, I still want to see people who are out there murdering people have a place to go, but I don't want it to be unfun. That's what I was just saying.
I
want it to be fun.
Way back at the beginning of online gaming, they had a game called The Realm, Sierra's The Realm. And when they would catch cheaters and stuff, they actually had an actual jail for those people they would put them into and they couldn't get out. And they were stuck in there for a certain amount of time. I mean, I understand, they want piracy and stuff, so I wouldn't want anything like that, but I do like Uber's suggestion where they can make it like a mini game that if you do get caught and you do get put somewhere, you got to kind of work your way to get out of it.
Yeah.
Or suicide.
No.
There should be an instant option.
You could never get out. And if you
suicide, there should be an instant option.
I do agree with drones about that. You
should have there needs paths. To be.
You could take the hit.
Yeah.
You lose all your rep. You lose, all progression type of stuff.
Well, yeah. If you take basically you're in prison for life. You still like this character. You want this character and all.
I would get a new character.
Then you have to escape, or you lose all your rep, and it's your
Rather than be in prison for life and have to play like 40 to 100 hours of figuring out how to get out of prison, I would just roll a new character and start over.
I think they should just do a permadeath, like you suicide, but you're permadeath. So
you don't have to suicide. I think
I'm just saying that there should be an instant out option. There should be.
I agree, but the instant out would be in the same sense that you basically, it would be like suiciding. But, the story arc for your new character could be, Uncle Frank is in prison for the rest of his life. Yeah. And now I'm taking over the stuff. Now, that character's never playable again.
Yeah.
Right?
The thing they'd have to be careful of as they develop Star Citizen is like if somebody paid me or Overwatch to take out a guy and it's like we know the terms. We know it's going to be basically this character's written off. He goes to the prison planet or whatever. If they paid me enough, I'd just use a new character account. It's not skill based. As long as I can equip him with the proper goods, it really doesn't matter. And then I would just toss that character away for it. We've done it in EVE before. I've used spy accounts that I bought for $120 and burned them because the people have paid me enough billions in game to do things, and I'm like, oh, okay. Whatever.
Yeah, why not?
It's just the way it works. But that's the gameplay you don't want to have happen. You want people to care about their characters. You don't want them to just throw them away and just go buy another account because that's not fun. People will do it to the extreme, but that's just not fun. Sure.
But isn't it? I think they're really looking at trying to keep everything in game, and that includes we talk about this in terms of why would people use voice chat in game if we can use Discord, right? Why use Discord? Why use in-game voice chat if we can use Discord? Well, it becomes an extraordinarily useful tool if Toy and I come face to face in the middle of an asteroid field, and the only way to contact him is via, like I open open
Yeah.
comms to his ship and I say, "Hey, hi, this is the Starship Abercrombie and Fitch," whatever, right?
Toy will just start
And,
blasting you right there. Then you did that.
That's it.
It's like, here, photon
We got
torpedoes,
some,
go!
We got some polo shirts we'd like to sell.
Your ship smells like perfume.
Yeah.
So, but like I was saying,
Yeah.
the only way to talk to certain people in the verse is via this voice. And then if there is a, like the voice chat that, because
You need a
what
system
Toy
to
was saying
hail like
before-
that, for sure.
Right. What Toy was saying before was that if people could eavesdrop on you, that he didn't want to use the in-game chat, right? Because eavesdropping would just like ruin his But that, I think, if you're with, if we're with each other in a pub, we might all choose to use Discord and not the in-game chat, right? Because we all know each other.
I think you're going to, even if you don't want to use the in-game voices, I think if you're going to captain or pilot a ship, you're going to have them available as an option. It doesn't mean you have to permanently use anything, because you can just mute mics, right?
But see, we would use it anyways for disinformation.
Absolutely.
That would be one way that people would end up using it, is for the disinformation side. But I don't think people, but what CIG is desperate to do is to get all of this kind of stuff in the game, not just,
people are going to
you know
use
what I'm
multiple.
But see, it's all about, it's not just that either, though. It's going in there, talking to people, fighting crew members.
Yeah,
and all that's
and you
with
don't want
role-play
to,
stuff.
and that was always the caveat with Eve, because Eve had an in-game voice, it was shit, but most people wouldn't use it because they'd always use their TeamSpeak. The problem was, what that resulted in is, if my fleet's going around and we're not in combat mode, but we're just patrolling or doing something, we run into another fleet, the only answer is to shoot each other, because you're not going to spend time in local. Hey, bro, let me give you my Twitch address or my beautiful IP for TeamSpeak 3 and all that stuff, and we'll talk it out. It's you have to react, And when you have an in-game option of like, let me hail them real quick, and then those guys are receiving a hail from me instead of me just blasting them right off the bat, you have more options. And that's an important thing.
I think it's going to open up a lot. I think
not purple shoot it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that are in organizations won't use the in-game chat at all. If you're in an organization, people are going to end up using TeamSpeak or Discord. They're going to use something that's outside so that they can never be eavesdropping.
The problem that I'm concerned with is the same thing that happens in every other game that has built-in voice comms. You get people running around saying stupid stuff that us Twitch streamers can't have on stream, and doing it for no reason other than to be trolling. That's it. That's the only thing they're doing. And of course, we're not going to pipe that audio to the stream. We'll pipe it straight to our headphones. But that gets obnoxious when you have to go around muting people just because of that. So, like, when I'm in public areas, I'm probably going to want that stuff off. Like, I don't want to hear what other people are saying.
Well, you want to see perfect example, go play PUBG.
Yep.
Yeah. Just
Why would I do that?
Right.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Everything from music to voice changers, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And Praetor is saying not everybody speaks English, though. That's not really an issue, because we dealt with that. And EVE Online's a global game. We had Russians. We had Chinese in there. We had
a large contingent of Russians.
Yeah, huge
Me
contingent.
personally, though,
all that stuff.
I would
Translator.
love to go into a bar and just say, hey, I'm looking for some extra crew members, and be able to say that out loud and actually have somebody respond in game to that. Yes, I'm going to have my core group of friends on the Discord or TeamSpeak or whatever we're using, but this game is about making more friends. Meeting other people.
Yeah.
And it's not even just
going in there and typing, like Mitt says, it sucks.
Yeah.
Being able to go in there
a lot.
and
you already got your
one of your
Moby glass
voices.
you got to do everything on. Why do we want to have to type out all the text and like have a local chat? Plus, you got to look at it this way. It's just like real life. I talk to you. I talk to the store clerk. I talk to people I see in game on one thing. The other one, I have my phone. I'm texting my buddies, right? I'm talking to them on this. I'm having personal conversations here. there's nothing to say that they won't support both inside Star Citizen. Have a personal comm system and then a public, hey, this is my voice thing here. Because everybody's wearing enough electronics, most of us be walking around talking to ourselves anyway. They won't know who we're talking to. Oh, yeah, guys, I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Oh, sorry, that was my buddy. The same thing you do when you go to the grocery store or anything else. And then you're talking and engaging people here. People are just,
with your Bluetooth in the ear.
Yeah, same thing.
I had 10 years ago, I had that little Bluetooth. It was so small, people thought I was insane muttering to myself on the streets.
Yep. I still do it without the Bluetooth now, though. It's like, definitely Wapner. Anyway,
definitely somebody else's underwear.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I just look at, I don't think dual comms is that far-fetched to think about. If they have a hierarchy, if they develop their voice comm system right for Spectrum, and they operate it like TeamSpeak 3, this technology has been out for what, a decade now already? You have multiple whisper channels, different hotkeys. Why couldn't you have an org channel in Spectrum and then a public channel or whatever?
Well, imagine when this goes the other way, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So voice comms, right? They get it all perfected. They get all this stuff. 5 years down the line, game's out and running. They're like, oh yeah, now you can talk to the NPCs.
Yep.
And they'll listen. They'll understand what you're saying and respond to you, right?
Yeah.
I would love that.
Because that's what Alexa does.
Just put Alexa in there, and then the NPCs can tell me all the time. I'm not really sure.
How does Alexa do it though? Right?
Alexa doesn't. Yeah. She doesn't know half the shit.
That Amazon has.
Yeah, Alexa fails a lot.
Right?
But being able to go into a bar and say, give me a beer, and have the bartender actually pull a drink out and hand it to you.
They won't understand everything you say, but there will be trigger words that you will be able to say that the AI will be able to listen to and go, oh, yeah, okay, great.
That'd be so much better than like inner thought comes up, because it's like, here, like, look at the inner thought. Give me a beer. Do I spill the beer? Drink the beer? Throw the beer? Smash the beer? I'm like, oh my God, I'm playing Sims 4.
wait for what happens next. You get it to where you can talk to NPCs, and then you walk up to a guy and they expect you to talk to him in Gian.
Yeah.
Oh no, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
No, that would not be awesome. That would be terrible. Stop. Awesome. Just stop. No.
Well, that's why you have the app on your Samsung
I can't do that.
Or your iPad phone that translates for you. Your universal translator, right there.
Goodness.
Hey, so the Gian are going to speak to you, and the written stuff you'll be able to have a translator for, but the stuff that they speak to you off the cuff, like if you're out there doing a trade or something like that, or right off the cuff, if you don't really understand Gian or Xian very well,
whatever.
You might get the price wrong, or the type of deal they're looking for wrong. You may respond incorrectly, So
get shot.
And you'll have.
What do you call my mom? Sorry, it was bad. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's so much potential with all that in this game. It's going to be amazing. Guys, if you didn't notice, we just started a riffle raffle for a $10 Star Citizen gift card out there for you. So all I do is type !SpaceBros and make sure you're following all of these fine gentlemen on your screen. So make sure you're doing that as well. And if you don't have the link for all that, like Toy Pit in there, it's !SBG for SpaceBro Gaming. And make sure you're going through there and just giving some follows out real quick. Most of you guys I know are probably already following everybody in the group, but you do need to follow to qualify for the win. So let's do that. If you haven't already put in some questions into the kitty, make sure you're doing that now as well. !questions, plural, in chat will get you over to the question form. And we're going to start that subsection here coming up in just a moment. First, let's find out what everybody's weekend plans are. And what's going
I miss you too, Jay Lee.
Yeah, gotta love Jay Lee. I'm so happy he
How
got
can you not love Jay Lee?
Oh, did you know Jay Lee is on the show Orville?
What?
No, he's not. But there is a Jay Lee. His actor name is actually is spelled exactly Jlee, and that's his whole name. And he's one of the actors on Orville. And I was like,
wow.
Because I was like, is Jay Lee on Orville? I was like, that's not Jay Lee. That's not my Jay Lee. But it's somebody who's got his Twitch handle Jay Lee. So It was crazy.
I only have one thing to say to Jay Lee. Thanks, Jay Lee.
Never living that down.
Man.
It could be worse. I'm waiting for Toy to go back over to LA, and then Jay Lee's gonna sleep in bed, and he's kind of like, wake up in deep sleep. He's like, I thought Toy's here, and Toy's gonna be like over across the bed, like, thanks, Jay Lee. He's got
That reminds me.
Face.
That reminds me. I need to send Jay Lee a DM. I'll be right back.
Sounds dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
This is the lanyard
Yes.
right there.
Yeah,
That is the correct
that's
one,
high
Jay Lee.
style. I don't know what your problem is with that. That's
It says
fashionable.
right there, Twitch, right?
Yeah. That's
Jay Lee, we were at TwitchCon. Jay, for those of you guys that don't know, there was this guy giving out these little things, and Jay Lee thought it was one of these things. It was like a TwitchCon one. He's like, "Hey, Toy, go get one of those." Because there was the ones that you actually had to pay for that cost money,
Right.
nicer ones. So I jump up, I'm dodging over people because they're like laying everywhere. They had these big pillow things all over the floor. I'm tripping over people, trying to rush over there to get one, and it's this stupid thing. So I had to take this thing to Germany with me just to show it to Jay Lee from Citizen.
And he took
Con.
it everywhere, so it's probably been the thing he's brought
I
with him
did.
everywhere the most in his entire life.
Yes.
So it's now become precious to him.
And I wouldn't take anything from hardly anybody at
Precious.
TwitchCon. They're all handing you like this free coffee and free this and free that. I'm like, no. But this thing,
I took
This is going me
everything
to the
from
grave.
everyone. I'm not gonna lie.
this is going to my will.
I still got crap I'm going through from there. There's lots of stuff.
I'm going to say, put this around my neck when I die and bury me with.
But I can say I gave more stuff
Seems
away
legit.
at TwitchCon than I took. So I can say that. Because I brought
Cute, man.
pounds and pounds of stuff. All right.
I gave away more of your cards than anybody gave away anything
my
I
ever.
think so.
Those things were everywhere.
It was so bad.
I think they're still cleaning up.
The custodians
sure they are.
screaming.
I'm
names.
surprised you didn't get a phone call from somebody at Twitch like Mitauchi.
Can you imagine if we go back to either that venue at Long Beach or go over to Germany and see if my stickers are still up around those cities?
Oh, just so you know, the cards. Hold on, these things. I literally hid these in random places in the hotel too. So
You still got them with you. They're everywhere.
I still have some.
When we were at the yacht club, this is like a freaking barge on the river.
Yeah.
He gave out stickers to everybody. They were all over the bathroom.
The whole
they put
bathroom
them
was like, everyone's going to be like,
on
who
the
hell's
shitter and
Mitauchi?
everything.
Yeah. On the
Freaking
toilet
stickers
seats,
on the shitter.
there was like Mitauchi sticker. I was
Oh
like,
my god!
It's like,
I went in there to take a leak, and Mitauchi stickers everywhere.
It was crazy.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
Yeah. So if you go to the yacht
It was
club,
pretty fun.
you'll see maybe one or two of these around the entire bathroom in there in the men's room. I don't know about the girls. I didn't go in that one, but in the men's room it was pretty.
Man, it's like, now that was Mitauchi. See, the thing is that everybody's claiming that it was stuff that he gave out, but he got so drunk that he started believing that everything he stuck something to, he owned. Like, I own this.
Yeah, this is mine.
And I own this.
He did that on the way back to the hotel from the yacht club. We had to walk like freaking 5 miles back to the hotel.
It was about 5 miles.
He must have freaking put 300 stickers all over everything. He's like, look at that car there. Let's put a sticker on it.
I didn't put any stickers on any cars, so don't start that. It was all purely on public domain property or signage or posters. Signposts, sidewalks, walls, stuff.
Yeah.
things,
Everywhere.
Bridges. I think I own the bridge that goes across the river in Frankfurt now because
See?
some stickers on there. All right, let's get started with these questions, gentlemen. First question is from Cathalis Rat that says, do you think we will have hangers in 3.0?
Yes. Next question.
I mean, we're
not
gonna have
our-
hangers like we have hangers now.
Yeah.
Which is,
But not
Yeah.
in the verse. I mean, the only hangars in the verse are the ones that you've seen at Levski.
It'll just be your hangar module that you go to. It won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be all fly to your hangar, if that's what you mean.
What do you think, Jay Lee? Will we have hangars?
It's not littering if it has adhesion.
Yeah, if I paid for them and it's advertising, it's not littering. So, no org hangars.
There are public hangars in 3.0.
Yep.
We've seen them at Levski. So.
Absolutely. Fugham's asked, he says, heard a great question tonight. Who gets every episode of Squadron 42 included with their package? Only the people that have the Legacy Squadron 42 packs, or everyone who bought it before it was separated from Star Citizen?
Well, the people that bought it, before will have it, and then the bigger package has it now, right?
But they said he said package? Every episode of Squadron 42. There's 3 episodes.
Oh,
I don't think there's any package besides maybe the very, very first, and I think that only had 2 of them. I've heard a story that nothing I've heard about all 3.
I think I heard that the people who bought, were in the original Kickstarter from
before my time,
late 2012, before they switched to the next. Okay, we've got this much. Everybody vote.
When it was actually a Kickstarter still.
Right? So, right. So when they were still in the Kickstarter, not on their own website going beyond the 6 million that they raised, right?
Yes.
So everybody who got in before that 6 million, I think maybe they are the ones that get...
There may be.
I don't remember that Kickstarter saying that you get all copies of
No,
Squadron 42.
because they didn't say all copies of Squadron 40. They just said Squadron 42. But remember, they did change the scope
of Squadron 42
it was
as well.
a community vote, because originally it was all supposed to just be, I guess, Squadron 42,
and
right?
just one game of Squadron 42. Yep. Then they did a community vote, and they made the online variant.
Yeah.
Right? And then they decided to also split Squadron 42 into 3 chapters.
Right. So I think that the people who came in with the idea that the first one, that's what I'm gonna get all of that, but there's not very many compared to what not very many people. It's less than 1 million.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think it's all of them. I think it's a certain tier of Kickstarter might have got multiple.
I think it's probably 100,000 people who get that, maybe,
if they're even still in the game. At this time, who knows?
Yeah, if they haven't already got their stuff. No, I bet a lot of the really early in just out of sheer stubbornness.
Yeah, we'd have to ask original backers if that was even an option, or because we don't. Like I said, I don't even know when they came out of Kickstarter if they fully knew they were going to do 3 chapters of Squadron 42. I don't know if they knew that at that time or not. I knew they were going to do the 1, but I think they were going to separate into a trilogy is what he wanted to do.
Right.
But I don't know. So that's a good question, though. I don't believe there's nobody post Kickstarter that would have every chapter of Squadron 42 as a default bundle.
I think that's... Yeah, I don't think that's the case. But I don't know for sure. Honestly, if you really want that question answered, you're going to have to...
Yep.
And I don't think you'll get that question answered if you're not one of those early backers. So
you could always ask Concierge. I bet Concierge would tell you.
You could ask one of those early backers if you know any of them. They'll probably tell you.
Chris will know. Ben would know. If you tweeted Ben, not publicly, and you did a direct message to him, I bet he'd tell you. Ben knows all that shit. He's a genius when it comes to history of anything that ever happened related to Chris Roberts. Praetor Meyer says, do you think there is a chance for us to get any sneak peek or small tour of the Reclaimer for the Aegis Sales Day show of the anniversary sale? And do you expect it to make it out for 3.0 since they're still adding stuff to it? Also, do you think... Wow, this is multi-part. Do you think that the Polaris will be featured in Squadron 42?
Well, here's
That's
what
a
I
bunch
think.
of questions.
Remember, they mentioned that they're going to be having multiple ATVs, right? Like ATV.
Yeah, one a day, one
Yeah,
every
one a
day
day.
at noon.
One
my
for
guess
each
is
each
that
sail.
we'll probably, So we'll probably get a little bit more in-depth tour of the Reclaimer because they're probably a heck of a lot more done with it. So they'll probably give us maybe even a fly-through of the Reclaimer. Who knows?
Maybe.
But
No.
it will not be in 3.0.
No.
It's
No,
not.
I can't see any reason for it to be in 3.0 since the mechanic that it like really is there for isn't going to be in 3.0. Why would they put it in even if it's like ready to go?
Yeah,
No,
but
no.
Starfarer is in, and it's not collecting fuel.
I know,
right
but
now.
I think they want to stop doing that. I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't think they care about that. I think what it is that they have what they consider these, in by dates. If it's not
Yeah.
in by this date, there's not enough time to really test it.
Yeah.
Right, and they need every single one of those things to be tested. So if it's not in by that what do they call that, the lockdown date of 3.0 when they lock
The
it down.
Reclaimer doesn't even have any guns, does it?
Feature lock date, right?
Yeah,
It has guns,
Yeah.
but not
It
very
does.
many.
but it definitely won't be in 3.0. Prospector will be in 3.0.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been flying the Prospector in 3.0 since games.
They don't care. I really don't
How
think
am I
that they
way
care
too
about
loud?
not having
You
the
are.
mechanic.
You're way louder than all the rest of the people. I don't know.
I am?
I'll see if I can adjust
Drones
that.
is. Drones drowns everybody out.
That's just because he's a loudmouth.
It's his microphone. He's got like a megaphone attached to it or something.
I saw him grabbing the microphone. Maybe he's talking
Squeezing
through
it.
his.
All right, so
Yeah.
first part, we answered that. Won't be in 3.0. And
What was
do
the
you
next part?
make it out? Blah, blah, blah. Do you think the Polaris will be featured in Squadron 42? I think they'll have it in there. I don't know if it'll be featured, but
Not
I
the
imagine
first
it'll
chapter.
make a presentation. of something.
I don't think it'll be in the first chapter. I think it'll be like in the second or third. So I think we'll see probably a strike going into enemy territory, a bunch of Polaris all flying in, but that'll be years down the line. I think
It'll
that
be
they've
like
got
when we
all the
first
ships.
saw the Idris like 2 years ago.
Right.
It was
Here's the thing.
it was like a model that you could see, but it wasn't mapped all inside and out.
What I think is that basically the only reason that Squadron 42 is taking much longer to complete was because when they realized they could create entire planets and entire solar systems, they put all that into Squadron 42.
Yep.
And now it's basically almost it's in that final, but they put it all in there, and that's why it's taken so much longer than they thought.
Yep.
So
yeah, the version that Tyler played a couple years ago is probably wholly different than what we have now because the tech has changed quite a bit.
the story's done.
The story's
Most
the
of the
same.
ship models
Just the
are done.
settings, all that stuff has changed. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So any kind of planetary stuff that you had in the original was just a, like a zone that was not traversable outside of. Now you got entire planets or entire moons, and it's, so.
Absolutely. Are we doing the
By
hat
the way,
thing?
is this any quieter for you?
Yes.
Yeah, I got my Squadron 42 hat the other
good.
day,
Nice.
so got to show it off.
It's great. It's awesome.
I love it.
It's pretty cool. Let's see. What do you from Nerd Council? What do you expect from the holiday live stream? Squadron
Squadron
42.
42.
Squadron 42.
Yep.
Yep.
What they said basically. They said Squadron 42 stuff. That's what I expect, and I expect that.
The schedule for Squadron 42 release.
Yep, that's what Aaron wants. Anyway, that's what he said. He wants to show us that as well.
I think that they are. I honestly believe that they're gonna get, I think they're really close to, but the schedule is just gonna give them that 3 to 6 month leeway to be able to go. Okay, we're gonna polish this, polish. So,
Well, we know Subsumption needs heavy polish.
yes, we know that Subsumption really needs work, so that's gonna give them that 3 to 6 month window.
Absolutely.
And they're adding new, quests other than space quests now that they have planets. So
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. When they realized, oh my gosh, we got procedural planets, they could now make ground-based missions for Squadron 42. So
that's awesome. dude, and with some of the new vehicles they're adding in, they could do some really cool missions with some of those vehicles.
I keep
Especially
envisioning.
I hate you, Mitt. I just saw that pop on
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started with that freaking card. How did you get one? That's your old one, right?
Yeah, I've had that
That's
one.
not
forever.
the.
No,
Yeah, I have the old one too. I'm getting another one.
but my old one's got Chris Roberts' autograph on it.
I'll tell you what. Next time I'm
multi-pass.
at Citizen Con and they drop those, somebody please buy me one of those stupid cards. Been
Did you
wanting those
see that
cards
one guy
forever.
tweet out? He has 6.
Fuck that guy.
He tweeted out a picture of 6
You know
of
what
them.
they should do for the like? What was the? I can't remember. Was it like 200 or something like that? I think it was a really low number.
No,
They did
a
100 of them.
I just jumped right on.
No,
and
it was
bought mine.
200. They sold 200 of
Oh,
the
okay.
ones this time. Maybe it was 100 last time.
When I bought mine, it was 1,000.
They did
Maybe you
1,000 the
came in when
first
it was
time. That's why
down
when
to
they did like
200.
that's when they did a couple hundred. I was like, whatever. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
first time they
really-
did
that's
1,000 of them, and they sold out really quick.
Yeah.
So
So about Squadron 42 and about what Toy was just saying, I envision that you will be in a either in a javelin or probably in a javelin. You'll be with a bunch of Marines. You'll be tasked to go recover something, and you'll go get into a Vanguard hoplite, and you'll go down to the surface of a planet. You won't be flying it. That'll be the AI's job, and you'll be there, and Mark Hamill's character might be there with you and say, all right, man, we're going to go out here. We got to gather, blah, blah, blah. You got to do this, and that will be the ground mission that you're on, right? So
That'd be
it'll be
cool.
like this crossover where you're not just a pilot, you're in the Navy, and you have to go do this ground mission, or that would be awesome.
that would.
I
be
want to
cool.
see him put you in the back of one of those, Humvee trucks that they just came out with, firing missiles at the enemies, or getting on a machine gunner in the back of one of those and fighting off people that you're either chasing or is chasing you. I
don't know
doubt
that
they'll
we
have that in the
them.
first
Yeah.
iteration of Squadron 42.
You'll
but
probably get into
They really need to get it in.
You'll probably be dropped into all right, we're in the zone, whatever. You'll drop down in a hoplite.
Yeah.
All the Marines along with you, Hamill's character, will jump out and go do what you need to do. And when you jump out, the game will save. So if Mark Hamill's character gets killed, okay, I'm going to start over. I
Yeah.
don't want that.
Well, it'd probably be a mission failure if he gets killed.
Right.
Probably be one of those things. Protect so and so and all that stuff, so they
Yep.
make it to the part of the story
Yep.
they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the only other thing I'm hoping to see for the holiday live stream is like I would expect either by that point to have either 3.0 PTU or 3.0 live, one of the two, depending on when they go
Vertical
with that.
frickin' slice.
Yeah. We'll
That's
see
gotta
what they do. They've mentioned it, but they also mentioned there was a lot of things that were supposed to happen at CitizenCon they didn't actually do too. So there's a whole bunch of stuff.
What I'm waiting to do with
I
this
can't
vertical
take it.
slice is we've seen like a couple minute walkthrough of Squadron 42 already, right? Way back with the bad graphics, where remember.
Yeah, that was just the Moro tour, though, right? That
Yes.
was just the tour
Mhm.
of the Idris.
But see, I want to see that with now graphics and updated engine and all that.
That would be
stuff.
really cool as well. A
Yeah.
fully updated graphics of the Moro tour with all the correct pathing, subsumption, all that kind of stuff. The facial, all the new
That'd be
face-
AI
cool, but I hope they
subsumption.
wouldn't leave it at that because that would be kind of
No,
like
no, I agree, Mitt. I think they need to have that vertical
Mhm.
slice. Now, what they said about the vertical slice is it's a mission, but it's not any of the missions that any of us will ever see.
No, it's supposed to give you just a sampling of different mechanics from the actual Squadron
Right.
42 game.
So it will be a mission, but it's not one that's included in the actual game.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because that means that they can put something together, have you go out, do a mission, defeat Vandul or pirates or whatever, and then come back and land on the ship. If they do just that, I would be satisfied.
It'd be cool if it was like the training mission or something like that for the game. But
Yeah.
I know they won't do
Yeah.
that. They want to make an independent mission all by itself. And again, I'm
Yep.
like, wow, that just
Well, that's what they said that the one from last year's CitizenCon was supposed to be, and then they basically canceled it because, well, the pathing was all messed up.
Yep. All right.
So,
next question from Praetor Meyer says, how confident are you to see 3.0 PTU or live by Christmas? And if they miss the 2017, how do you expect a majority of SC to react?
It will definitely be in before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'll give you whatever they got.
At least in the PTU.
PTU.
I'll bet my zero reputation on it.
Yeah. I think that the PTU will start within the next 2 weeks, and then it will continue until it goes live. But for Christmas, like they did with 2.0, if it's not live by Christmas, they will just open the PTU. So it'll still stay PTU, but everybody will be able to get into it.
We should
like
start a betting pool,
Yeah.
like full the calendar December, and see like when they think it'll go to PTU.
Right. I think it'll go to PTU in November because I think they're desperate to get some visibility for their anniversary sale. But that's just my...
Absolutely.
That means they'd have to have it up in the next 6 days.
Yep. I see an early PTU. You know, it does. It's you know,
Maybe.
like a visible PTU first run of Concierge.
If I had to guess, I'd say their goal for PTU Wave 1 is sometime during the anniversary sale.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think
That's exactly
their
what
target dates. I don't know necessarily that
They
they'll
might not
hit
make
them, but I think that's the target.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard. I don't know.
It
I don't
is
know if
hard.
they're going to make November. I don't know. I hope to see it by the first full week of December, but I don't know for...
If they don't make November, I think the anniversary sale will be an absolute...
I don't
I
think
mean, it'll be fun for us, but it won't be a moneymaker for them.
I think they'll make money either way. I just think they'll make more money. I've never seen them do a set. I've seen that they made money off the goddamn Banu Defender, for Christ's sakes. It's a horrible ship. It's a horrible, ugly ship. It's the ugliest ship, horrible ship in the game. It's terrible. Besides the Aurora.
Are you kidding me? The Aurora is awesome. What about the Xi'an Scout?
The Xi'an Scout's a beautiful ship, but it is almost entirely useless in my opinion. But
it's an ugly... I mean, up close, it's really pretty. They did really
inside
great job on the
viewpoint's pretty
texture.
good on it too. On the Scout.
But that's an ugly ship.
Yeah, they have to rework that whole Banu Defender to even add that, because there's no way I want to fly a ship where it looks like the viewpoint looks like two fists in front of my face the entire time. It's like
Looks like a Cylon ship. I love it.
from the outside, I think it looks cool there, but the minute they showed that cockpit viewpoint out, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's like it was terrible.
The cockpit. They didn't show the cockpit view. It was one of the people who was. Remember when he did the whole.
Yeah, he did a simulation.
He did a simulation.
They didn't show a view from the cockpit. They showed a view inside the ship, but not out from the cockpit.
Yeah.
Not a pilot's view. That was somebody else who did that.
Well,
that
either
was,
way, I know why they didn't show the cockpit view then, because it looks like crap if it's got those two things in front of it like that. Because they didn't come back after that guy did it and say, "Oh no, that's not right." They're like, "No, we might be able to make adjustments." That's what they said. So I don't think that he was far off on his metrics there.
Well, he was exactly on when he said that they sold the 600i and said it's 62 meters long.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, it's 92, and everybody's like, no, he's wrong. Teller's wrong. DIG said it was 62. It's 62. And then they came out with it like, nope, it's 92.
It's 92. He's right.
Yep, Teller was right on the money with that.
Absolutely.
But they did.
He works with the models a lot. I mean, you gotta give some of these guys that do this, and that's what they do on the side as a content creator. You know, you can't just always write them off. I know a lot of people, "Oh no, he's wrong." I'm like, yeah, SAIG gets their written numbers wrong a lot of times. You know, just because there's so many different departments working on it, they're getting better about it. But people that actually physically work with the models, they usually know right what it is, whether they work for the company or not, because they see them every day. So, All right. So we got mixed reactions on. I think everybody agrees it's going to be out by Christmas. If they miss the 2017 date by an act of God or anything like that, I think you'll see the most salt ever thrown in the entire game of all time.
If it was an act of God, like say for example, there was something, electrical short at the Manchester office and the sprinklers went off and all of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was something that really, I don't think there would be salt. I think
there would be anyway, because they have the cloud now, right? They got so much cloud work. If they didn't back up their build to the cloud, people would be like,
but they have all the stuff. It's not about that. It's not about losing
all this cloud talk. We all know that all the dev branches are on
offices, right?
Yeah.
So, but all I'm saying is that if it's not an act of God and they just, because they say, oh, it's not ready, so we're not going to put it out, then the salt would fly,
There would be more salt out there than there is in the entire town of Kansas City to salt our roads in the winter. I guarantee there'd be dump trucks like pulling up in LA at their doorstep. It would be bad, really bad. But I don't think that'll happen.
For Chris Roberts.
Oh my gosh, it'd be bad. People be mailing them salt licks with stacks of coal for their stockings and stuff. It'd be bad. But I don't think that'll happen. I think they got it in a state now where they could drop whatever they have to do if they wanted to. They just want it polished and happy. So I think we're on polished and happy land right now, and that's it.
That's why I think that you will see
that'd be awesome. I root for November release. I'd root for November release, but for PT,
what else I want to see. I want to see an update on their tech for creating roads. Remember the last one we saw where he just kind of painted the road? I want to see the evolution of that, where they're at now with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That tech was badass, and you could use that to make runways and all
sorts of cool
and
stuff.
All kinds of shit.
Everything they've gotten where it's just paint on and procedural generated is amazing. Is amazing tech. It looks so good.
I want to see them give us. God darn it! I want to see forest. That's I
want to see forest and jungles. Things I haven't seen yet that I want to see is fully populated forest and jungles with flora and fauna, and I want to see rivers. I haven't seen moving like actual rivers. I've seen the lakes. I want to see the whole Crisis type thing. It's a Crisis original build. I want to see the whole thing where you're wading through the water with the gun and you're going through the thing
underwater.
And I want to see him chopping through the vines, going through, exploring into a deep jungle to find some ancient civilization. I mean, everything's in this nomadic desert stuff with a temple, or everything's Prometheus style, the moon of big open area, and we found this half in sarcophagus thing and all that. I want to see what does it look like when it's fully overgrown vegetation, the opposite of ArcCorp. With other creatures running around stuff, and you can't even move 5 meters without having to cut and hack through the stuff.
One of the latest videos for the where they take you to the planets was talking about one of the planets was pretty much a forest planet.
Yeah,
and the trees were so tall. And Nerd Council, that's the one. I don't think that was the one. But he mentioned the one with the racetracks on one of the moons too recently on one of the same things.
That's it. Yeah.
That's not a leak, Nerd Council. That they have said they put a racetrack on. I think they said, what did they say? Daymar, I think.
Yeah.
What do they call those shows where they're talking about the planets and stuff?
Lore Makers.
Yeah, Lore Makers Guide to the Galaxy.
Yep.
Both of those were mentioned in Lore Makers.
And they actually mentioned something about those racetracks before they even did the Evocati drop of the build.
Yeah,
they were talking about Daymar and all that stuff
back in July.
Yeah.
They were talking about, I think that was during the ATV that they had talked about procedural planets or procedural moons, and they said, "Oh yeah, and we've decided to add in a racetrack near one of the God, what did they say? The Rayari Labs or something like that." That was there was a big Rayari outpost with the labs and employee housing, and they said they had a racetrack, and they showed the picture. Remember, they had the picture of the guy standing there next to the sign, right?
Absolutely.
All the race times, right? So that was something that was not a leak on Reddit. That was the devs showing us something.
Yep.
I think that was back in July, if I'm not mistaken.
I talk about leaks anyway, but yeah, nothing. Usually we don't talk about anything on the SpaceBro show that's like leaky too much. Unless it's a big leak.
No, but if what I wanted to say is I don't really care about that. If somebody talks about, oh, this was leaked, I'll talk about it. I don't care. But the point is that I wanted to say that this is confirmed. It's not a leak.
Absolutely.
You know, usually when people talk about leaks, there's no way to confirm or deny, oh, is it real? Oh, I don't know. It's a leak, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but this is not a leak.
This is all stuff from them, from CIG.
Yeah. So we know for a fact there's a racetrack on Daymar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we'll leak this because I just learned about this today.
That's smart.
Oh my gosh.
And that's
we're gonna turbo mode these questions because some people, not including myself, have to go to an RL job tomorrow.
Yes, hi.
Yeah. Next question from Praetor says, do you think AC should get new maps? Should it be in the drop of 3.0? I don't have a problem in getting new maps, but not in 3.0.
Yes, no. Yeah, I agree with Mitt.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't need new maps in Star Marine or Arena Commander yet.
Not yet.
I know there's a lot of Star Marine stuff that was done that hasn't hit us yet. Like, I know there was
I'd just be good if the guns and bullets work and everything synced up more.
Right.
I also want the changing room fixed. Get that out of the back of the Demian station.
There you go. Rylan asks, he says, we learned about auto turns in 3.0 now around major hubs. How well do you think that will keep griefers away from ramming people in Armistice Zone?
Not at all.
People? Not at all.
Not at all.
Shooting people, probably a little bit easier.
Adjustments to the criminal system are what going to keep people from ramming people because you don't instantly come back with your spaceship.
Right. If you ram into somebody with your spaceship, there should also be a can't speed up the delivery, you know, like where you have a deductible out there in the and you get blown up and you die and you go back and you go and you want to call your ship back. Well, right now they say you have a deductible, right? To speed up the delivery. Well, maybe if you've rammed somebody else's ship, destroyed your ship and theirs, you don't get the deductible. You've got to wait the entire amount of time. If it's a ship like the Aurora, it's a short amount of time, but if it's a much bigger ship, you're SOL.
I'd say you get it back.
I like
first
that
time.
idea.
I like getting it back normally the first time because you don't know when somebody's just a bad pilot. I'd say if they do it a second time within a window interval.
But if they're a bad pilot and they're usually they're going to be in an Aurora. So if you have to wait, you know.
Well,
I mean, seriously.
if it's their first offense, though, is what I'm saying. I think it should just be like car insurance. If it's the first time they ever got in a wreck, okay, you know, you could speed it up all the stuff. If they do it again,
maybe it'd be like the point system.
Exactly. If you do it again within a certain period of time,
it's going to be that way, right?
Yeah. If you do it in a certain amount of time, and I'm not talking like a few hours or minutes, I'm talking like maybe a day or two. If you do it again purposely, then it's like, oh, you have to wait the full term. If you do it again, maybe it gets to where it's longer than normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you do it like 3 or 4 times, maybe you're waiting like on your silly Aurora for hours to get it back if you continually do it within a window of period of time. It'd be based on frequency and intention. And the whole thing that's really difficult for games to determine is your intention. Games don't understand that. And the problem is we always want AI and systems in games to predeterminately determine whether this guy is a griefer. What was his intention? That's the only way to define a person griefing versus anything else. You have to understand the player's intention. And so you have to build the algorithms the best you can for that, but there's always going to be edge case scenarios where shit just happens. So you don't want to
and there's going to be people who figure out how to work the algorithm in their favor.
Or killing you, he's a griefer.
It's probably intentional. Or I'm practicing for contracts. All right. Next question from Commander Benkai. What will you ask Santa to give you for Christmas? Do you think Santa will use a caterpillar or a whole S for Xmas present delivery in SC? Will the reindeer work as an NPC on crew on Santa's ship?
I have it on good authority that Santa flies a Cutlass Red. True story.
I think he'd fly a Caterpillar. It's bigger.
Yeah,
It's a lot
I'm
more
pretty sure he's flying a Caterpillar.
Yeah, but magic. He doesn't need space.
This is true.
Everything fits in that bag.
It's true. I would say for Santa to give me for Christmas, there'd be a couple things. Enough money to go to PAX South. Enough money to make sure my son has a great birthday at Chuck E. Cheese. And maybe one new spaceship. No. A Elgato 4K card. That's what I want. Those are my
Good choices.
What do you guys want for Christmas?
I would like for Santa to go. I'd like for
There you
Santa
go.
to go break toys, Mike.
I want peace for all space kind.
Oh yeah. 'Cause
Screw that.
we know how peaceable toy is in video games, so that'll happen. You broke my torch. Let's murder your entire family. That's the way it goes.
I
All
watched
right.
that episode.
Absolutely. Ryland says, what are everyone's thoughts about the whole EA Battlefield 2 loot crate controversy? Foreign governments are starting to get involved now.
Wait,
Meh.
so I have not paid attention to any. I have no clue what.
Was that Battlefront or Battlefield? I think that was Battlefront, wasn't it?
What was the question?
The thing was, what are everyone's thought about the whole EA Battlefield 2 loot crate controversy?
Oh yeah, it's definitely Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't care.
So
It's-
basically, they put a time limit on stuff, and in order to unlock like the special guys like Darth Vader, you have to pay money.
You have to buy them all. The microtransactioned out non-cosmetic items, actually things that will make you win. They made it pay to win, basically.
And somebody did some kind of formula on how long it would take to unlock everything
Yeah.
and how much it would cost you. And
'Cause
it
you
was
can
like
unlock
over
it in game.
$2,000.
Yeah, you can unlock it in game, but
without money?
it takes a very, 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 very long time. And I think there's edge cases where certain things you couldn't get unless you bought them. But if you bought the complete package of everything in game or something, it was like $2,000 for an EA game that they roll out on a annual or biannual basis. And it was like people
I guess
lost
I can't really complain since I've already spent over $6.
But it's an EA game. And it's
Yes,
the thing is too, people went ape shit, and so they've already issued a letter of apology, closed down the pay store, all this stuff. But it's like it's really, they haven't closed it down. They just said they're shutting it off for now. So the gaming world is really pissed at them at the moment. It's really bad. But you know, it's whatever. Wait till the next No Man's Sky comes out and everybody forget about it. So I'll tell you what, I'm not buying it just because of that.
Yeah, I don't care.
I mean, I was on the fence about it to begin with, and after I heard all that shit, I was like, yeah, you can't get me far away enough from that game. So people even offered like, oh, we'll let you play it. You know, we'll give you our username, password. I'm like, I'm good. It's just too,
I don't
it's too
really
much
care.
drama.
You know.
Yeah,
so.
I don't. I love Star Wars too. That's the thing and this is the last rant I'll have about this. Thing that pisses me off the most about the situation with EA and these type of games is the fact it's in a genre and a actual whole verse of something I really love, and that's Star Wars. And they have to build this whole shit show around something I care about as a whole fucking franchise. And then I'm just like, it makes me not want to play the game. Who doesn't love Star Wars that doesn't want to be Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker and all that stuff in a game and it'd be cool? First off, they ruined the first game of it. And now they're microtransaction the shit out of this one. And I'm just like, you know what? Just fucking keep it. I'll watch the movie in December and I'll just be happy with that. Let's do that and buy my pop figures and I'm good. And keep your fucking crap game. EA.
Their game wasn't bad. I played the first one. I didn't
If you
buy
have
the
friends
second
and you
one.
actually want to play with people, it sucked.
Well, yes, there was that. But it's a twitchy type of, rush the objective gameplay.
I would have loved
And
it
it was
if I
fun
could have
for a few minutes.
If I could have a team, there was they advertised a squad of 4 and it was co-op. You could like me and you could spawn on each other, but Drones and Uber Nerd, we couldn't even play with them even if they're in our squad. It doesn't mean anything. I'm like, what the fuck? What? So it was a co-op game that they advertised as squad play. I was just so mad. I was like, what is this crap? And I bought the fucking $100 the whole deal. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Played 5 hours of it and like I won't wipe my butt with that thing now. I was so mad. bad. Saltiest game of my purchase the entire year was that one.
See, I'm not salty about that.
I am super salty
I
because
was
you don't
not
fuck with my
salty
Star
about
Wars.
No Man's Sky.
You don't fuck with my Star Wars shit though, and they fucked with my Star Wars, and I'm EA. Don't fuck with my Star Wars.
I like No Man's Sky. I don't
Like-
care what you guys say.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people got really salty about World of Tanks as well, and World of Tanks actually changed because of all the salt that was thrown for the gold spammers, where you could only get gold ammo with cash, right? So people got really ticked off at that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, we'll move on. I know Drone's got to go work tomorrow. All right, so do you think character creator will get a body mass slider? If so, will affect your weight, females less mass, perhaps advantage, blah, blah, blah. The only argument you could have in that would be basically female models will be slightly smaller in stature, but here's the thing. They can't make, they maybe in the future, but they've talked about they already can't make the bodies too different in proportion and size because the ship fittings, because the suit fittings.
Yeah.
The only real difference in height than those things will be between male and female.
Yep.
You won't have any other difference, and that's the main thing. You'll have customization of the face and all the other cool shit like that, but
There
the body
may be
mass, you're
very,
not,
very slight differences,
but not for
enough.
hitbox, not to impact the hitbox
No.
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The hitbox will be the same. You're not going to be able to make a big fat character. You're not going to be able to make a pencil rail thin character. You're not going to be able to make a dude that's 4'5" and skinny.
So no art
Yeah, I would
characters.
think-
In other words, they can't make a guy this tall and have black skin.
with
do all that.
giant.
I would
fat
think
arms.
changing all that stuff would complicate the armor and the clothing
Yep.
mechanics. Like you don't want to mess too much with that.
Yep.
Right. So basically, there can be slight variations. There can be like the difference between a 5'9" dude and a 5'11" or a 6 foot dude. Right. That's fine. You're gonna fit
Just
the same
marginal
gears.
little stuff, but you're not gonna.
Right. You're
not
gonna fit in the same, but they're not gonna make you allow you to have a 7 foot tall dude. or
And more
5
importantly, they aren't gonna let this guy be like 300-400 pounds.
no.
Like me, they're gonna
already said
or this. You're going to be this type of body style, and that's it. And that's
Yeah,
not for the hitbox issue. That's because the way they designed the suits and the cockpits and all that stuff. They
Yep.
fought for literally years to get these models down correctly. They're not gonna dick around with them. So, unfortunately,
So I
that's
could
just-
see like there being like a 3-inch different dudes and a 3-inch different
yeah.
women, right? And that's it. Other than that, the body type is practically
Generally,
the same.
yeah.
Generally the same. And the way we'll differentiate ourselves is by the facial features, the hair, and all the clothes that you wear.
And skin color. I'm sure you'll have shaders and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. the skin
Yeah, a
color
lot of
stuff.
different things like that. So there's still enough to make your character
Eye
very
color,
unique.
skin color,
Mhm.
hair color, hair
All
length.
those things.
Toy just needs
Well-
to know, is there a dong slider or no?
Yeah.
That's
Nope.
it.
They took out all of the 4K genitals. Don't you
Yeah.
remember that?
I think Sean Tracy keeps them all in his house. Also, the second part of this question: do you think character/NPCs, aliens excluded, will have different stats such as strength, endurance, and stamina, and those type of things?
Not that we see.
I know player
The
characters
only thing-
won't. I don't know about NPCs. I don't think there'll be those type of stats because I know
Not
you
that
should
we
train
see.
them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You will be able to train them. They will probably come with a certain level of intelligence, like their
Mhm.
what their future capabilities are. But you won't know it.
Yeah.
But what you will know is you'll ask this person, "Hey, I want you to learn how to do this." You'll pay them, or maybe there'll be an option to be able to send them to a quick school
Yeah.
that the NPC will be able to go
another
to school,
thing-
learn the basic skill,
Yeah.
and then they'll have to practice after that, right?
Another
So-
thing somebody said that was really interesting related to the same thing was somebody told me, this has been even last year during the SpaceBro show, that they were going to train up their NPC characters. That way they could take them over as an heir if they got permadeath. And I said, well, that'd be stupid. Because if you trained up your NPC, you don't get any bonuses from his training. When you take him over and that's your character now, he essentially has no skill because he's based on your skill. So if you ever took over or trained an NPC as one of your alts, you're basically wasting your time on him, because if you intend to embody him at some point, you've erased all his skill because he's not you anymore. Or you're now him.
Right.
So yeah.
It'd be like the Matrix, right?
But am I you or you me? It's weird. It's like a Matrix.
But
weird
I
NPC.
you know, to they've said before that that as the NPCs gain skill, they will become more expensive.
Yep. Pay goes up.
Oftentimes they will become more picky. They will take more of your, like, I demand, better meals, longer breaks, or they may even be able to be hired away from you if you ignore them for a long enough period of time. Right?
But they'll never revolt on you on ship.
No, they won't mutiny.
No.
But if you basically refuse to pay them more at the next stop, they may be like, later, dude. No, I'll pay you more. Sorry, dude, later.
Yeah. They do have they're not slaves. That's one thing people don't understand. They are not slaves to you.
Right. So if you tick them off for long enough, they'll leave you. They won't mutiny and take your ship over, although that would be a riot. That would be so funny. Some dude just is totally picking on his NPCs.
And oh yeah, Capitan.
Yep. They take you. They throw you in the brig, and that would be a lot. That would be awesome.
All right. Next question from Groggy. Says, with mining supposedly coming in 3.1, what's everyone's thoughts on how mining should work? Drilling / collecting times, collection of rocks, gas, ore, etc. Well, they have a document on mining, actually.
Yeah. Go read the mining document.
Yep. That's for general mining.
Mining should work. I think the way mining should work, and I'm not thinking Orion yet. I'm thinking Prospector. Is you fly up to an asteroid, you turn the laser on, and my fleet comes in, and you explode. That's the way mining should work.
I think mining should work exactly like a first-person version of EVE Online.
Yes,
because they've already designed a Prospector to work that way, because you have those ejectable chutes of ore, right? They fill up the bags on your Prospector. Well, in EVE, you could eject cans of ore out of your cargo, and another hauler can come up and tractor beam them in, haul them over to the station, and then they're the relay guy that goes from there. You could sit on a rock while you're out in the asteroid belt, drilling, doing your deal, and you start popping cans. The next guy comes up, and he's doing the relay. That way you stay on target, doing maximum efficiency, and you're paying a transporter to go back and forth. It makes it a multi-person job. It's really awesome. Or if you don't have that, buddy, you can just ferry it yourself back and forth, right? But if you have the system to do that, there you go.
I hope that they don't do it like EVE, in the sense that there's a lot of people who would sit there and AFK mine, and because
you can't. Not in this.
I already discussed that.
The asteroid could explode if you don't monitor it manually in this.
Right.
So, yeah.
But in EVE you can AFK.
Yeah, because there's no asteroid explosions on those type of rocks. Although they did add a volatile type of asteroid inside EVE.
There's no skill involved in mining. There's just pay attention to not getting ganked.
Which is a very important skill inside EVE. I will say that.
It is.
Hugely important.
Dude, you know how many times there's so many times I was in a belt though, I'm sitting there just hitting the scanner like this, like, oh my god, 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 oh my god. They might be coming in.
I told you I was bait skiffing a lot of belts, so I loved it when people came in.
That's how I started streaming, was detaching a Sino and pretending to mine so people would gank me, and then I'd bring in a whole fleet. It was really fun.
You know when that mining ship points you and scrams you, it's over.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. He interdicted me in a mining ship? What? Yeah. It's a trap. It's a true trap. I loved it.
It's a trap, and it's too late.
But not so much the physical mechanics of the individual pilot in EVE, because I do agree that was boring as crap. That's why most of us had 16 accounts and running 5 miners. But I like the teamwork aspect of, if you had a transporter or a guy that could come up and say, a hull A or something else, and they could get those cans or those bags from the Prospector, so the Prospector pilot could manage what he's doing, and say then you had a whole org of your guys. You had 10 Prospectors, maybe 2 guys coming in whole series, and they're picking up these cans, and then they fly them back to the nearest space station, dropping them off, coming back again and relaying. It makes this whole trucking type cool harvesting group and stuff, and it'd be really fun. It's a lot more fun to mine with bros than it is by yourself.
I want to see the mining mechanic itself be one of as much skill as depending on where you're at, as much skill as a dogfight.
Absolutely.
I want to see it as much skill as I don't want to see it just point, click, spam key, spam the F key, spam the F. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
If that's what it is, oh my God, I'm gonna hate it.
And that's why it was boring in Eve. That's why we had to run 5, 10, 15 accounts, right? Because you could do that with 5 different guys to keep yourself entertained, because it was like one character would be boring as shit.
Because there's going to be people who want to do nothing but mine.
Absolutely.
And it needs to be immersive enough to keep those people happy all the time.
I want to see those volatile asteroid belts where if like Toy's mining next to me and he falls asleep and he screws up and his stuff back blows up, it could actually cause a chain reaction. Right? This is volatile stuff we're dealing with.
Everybody run!
Well, one guy could blow, and you just have all the roids start to like go nuclear on you and to start blowing out. It's like, no! And you're like trying to get out of there. And so everybody's got to be pro at it. Everybody's got to, and there's certain rocks that's not that big a deal. But maybe the really good stuff, it's like, oh man, this stuff's good, but it's very volatile, We got to hit the cores right. We got to do all that. So you actually have some real decent gameplay in there and pay attention to what you're doing. But you can make lots and lots of credits if you do it right. So that'd be really cool, man. I think that'd be fun.
I want to see it where you got to do like a initial preliminary scan, then you do a pre-drill route scan, then you do a test drill, and then you do another scan to see, okay, did I get close to that? And when you scan it, it gives you a new image and you've drilled in. So then you can take that image and turn it in the game. So you're like looking at a 3D image of what you just drilled in, and you're like, okay, oh, see, I almost hit that gas pocket. Okay, all right, go to the right.
I think
and you have to do that.
I think that would be cool.
Okay, now we're in the ore. Now you could just have it go. Once you get past all that and you get to where you're supposed to, then you got the drill going. And as long as you know where all the pockets
I think it just depends on how much you gather, what the rates are, and how much you need to make things or produce things. That'll be whether all that extra gameplay in the front of it's going to do that, or is it something like maybe you have a bunch of just like, car-size rocks, and you're going to have to do this one, then that one, then this one. And maybe you have to get 100 of those, or add 100 of those in order to even build something, So it just depends. Right. If it makes it too tedious on one end, that's the other. I was thinking about those same mechanics, except on planet side, because they're gonna have those passive miners, like almost like an oil rig. Like you have to do a core sample, you have to find out the right depth, and then you can just set it and go. But you're gonna have to come back and maintain that and check it and make sure you're.
I think the passive mining machines are going to be for outposts, and that's going to be much later down the road.
Oh, absolutely.
And but that'll be cool.
Yeah,
but that's not coming in 3.0.
No.
Or 3.1.
But they even got to think about that working into the ecosystem of what they want to have, right? Like this is for
that's
this.
That's what I thought that they should. I thought that they could create some sort of really basic mining mechanic for us, because they already have the mining outpost there with the mining. So all you need to go and do.
It's just a passive miner.
Just all you have to do is like what I was thinking. What they could do is say, hey, this what you saw in the last happy hour, not this week's, but the one before, where they showed that was a mining outpost, and there was a mining control system there. Well, let's just say that your mission to in 3.0 would go repair that, then go collect the existing boxes, load them into your ship, and then take you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Repair that, wait for it to finish, and then load your ship and go.
Yep.
That would be a job, and it's not like you wouldn't be doing any skilled crap, right?
Yeah.
But it still would be mining enough to where you'd repair the machine. The Shubin Mining Corporation would hire you to go repair the machine, then take the final delivery of ore to some location.
Yep.
I hope they do it similar to Star Wars Galaxies. I love the way they did mining mechanics on Star Wars Galaxies, because you had to go to the planets, you had to scan around for certain areas,
right.
You had to go to those areas, you had to place down a miner down, get a sample, and see if it's any good or not. And if it did, you had to fuel up your miner, and then you could leave it alone and let it collect. And the way they did it there was, really good high concentrations didn't last very long. You mined it out really quick. Then you had to go pick up your miner, scan around for another spot somewhere, move it over there, and just rinse and repeat.
Right. I hope they do that for some planetary, planet side stuff, but I also hope that they make those ones far less efficient than the directed ones, right?
Oh, yeah. Something passive you gather over time should.
Well, it would just be real slow.
Yeah.
Right.
They could
Exactly.
just make it like real slow.
The passive ones are far less efficient in terms of the oil they're able to collect, versus if you're directing the drill, you're getting almost you can get a much higher level of purity if you're doing it by hand, right? And so I want to see that. And then the Orion, of course, is going to waffle stomp everything else in terms of how it's the purity that it can get.
But it also takes 3 to 4 people just to even operate the Orion, because you have one guy that's
cool.
one guy's watching for the blowback, one guy's actually putting pressure on the drill, the other guy's monitoring the intake, and then the pilot has to coordinate the ship. So there's a lot of aspects that was really what the mining design document went over, was the Orion overall. So that's something that is really interesting. They basically treat the Orion much like an oil rig, where you have all those different stations. So yeah. All right, so let's move on. It says, this is from Persistence, is SC definition of persistence to log out? You have to log out in bed. Otherwise, if you log out without a bed, you do not log in where you logged off at. Sorry for the clunky screens. No. You can't log out unless you log out in a bed, essentially.
Yeah, so I talked about this on my stream. So what they're working into the game right now is, and they've said that on the ATV actually, was that they are working in the mechanic where you get into the bed and then you can log out, and that saves your ship and your position, right?
But if you don't get in the bed and you log out,
don't get in the bed and then you log out. What I was saying was that I hope they would do is say, "Are you sure you want to log out here? You will pay a towing fee, or you will pay a relocation fee if you do." Right. So, and that relocation fee will relocate you to the nearest.
My understanding was something a little different. My understanding was if you dropped out, you were a viable target because you're not going to fight back. You're just there.
Oh, if there are people around, yes,
you're still there. No, I'm saying if you force log out, like what they refer to as an ungraceful log out, that you would just persist there. You would literally be standing there doing nothing.
They can't do that for the sheer simple fact that there are going to be people who get the ugly logouts not due to no fault of their own. So what it has to be is that if you are doing the logout, you're in a dogfight, you're losing, you're like pull the plug. They want you to persist and get your butt kicked.
Yep.
Right. But if you're
aggression
on the moon,
metrics.
If you're on the moon and you're running around and you get disconnected or you have to go, so you just log out without a bed, then what I hope is that you will basically wake up in a bed at the closest either outpost with a landing pad or you're on a moon.
So
and you're supposed to just be there. You're supposed to be right there on the moon still, right where you went down.
So my question is how?
Chris
how are you getting from point A to B?
But Chris says you can't teleport in this game.
Yeah.
Right.
So
if you log out, you're just there.
If we're talking final game mechanic, I would say that there would have to just be some sort of story of where you passed out from exhaustion. They recovered you, took you to the hospital.
Then that has to happen.
Yeah,
like that
die.
Mechanic. You'd have to see people come and recover you.
Just say it happened when you wake up.
I don't think they'll do that.
But then my thought process on that is if you're going to do that, then there should be opportunities during that process for me to intercept that happening.
Yeah,
like it shouldn't just be.
Why should there
be
you're
magically there
next to me when I do that? Why should there be an opportunity?
Because AI would actually have to come get you.
No,
and also people could use that as a teleport. Like it may not be an everyday instant teleport, but I may need to get past a blockade, and that may be the closest station, and I get to force disconnect myself and just
it's not gonna
magically
take you there.
appear?
So
No.
we know that they have outposts on the moons that are the emergency shelters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's not going to take you to Port Olisar. It's going to take you to something that was pretty close. So if you're still being blockaded, you're not going to get away from that, and you're going to have to then go out and get your ship. It's not going to bring your ship right to you.
No, you'd
So
have
you're
to
gonna
come
be like,
back for your ship.
crap.
I don't
I'm gonna
know.
have
We'll
to
see
go
what
for-
they decide on that. But up to now, they want to actually be a real mechanic for all that crap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
I
how
would
they
want that
expand
to be you have to get there, not you just go there.
But the problem is with that, if you want it to be where AI has to come get you, then you'd have to be like what happens if you woke up like you reconnected mid AI getting you? Like that'd be weird too.
Well, see, what
wake
I
up
would
and
like
the
to
tongue
see
down your
is if
throat.
they made it a ship autopilot mechanic.
Yeah.
So there's a ship autopilot mechanic to where, okay, you passed out, whatever. The ship makes best possible speed to the nearest station, auto lands, and at that point, yeah, okay, you spawn in that station.
What if
Yeah.
you're not?
Something like that I would be totally cool with.
I don't know. That's going to be a hard question because people would try to manipulate that to their advantage. Even if they're wanting to get back to an outpost, say they just don't want to run back there. It's just like, I'm going to go eat dinner. I'll just lay down here. Log out.
Yeah.
If I park my ship on a moon and nobody else is around me, and I log out in my bed, my ship should.
Your ship will stay right where it is. It'll just disappear.
Yeah. But it should fade out so that I can't be ganked while I'm
That's
sleeping.
right. It will disappear. It takes only just a minute or two. If you're under aggression, like you said before, like you're in a fight, it'll make you stay longer. That's the same way other spaceship games do it. Like you won't be able to use it to dodge a fight, but if you just
So
wanna log
maybe
out
they'll
and
have
die,
you know how we have the current crime stat right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
yeah.
Well, maybe they could do that for aggression levels, right?
Yeah.
And for each aggression level, it's a 10-minute. You're 10 minutes in the game.
Something like
And
that.
if
That's
you're
what
at
they did
five,
in Eve.
If you're at 5 aggression levels and you're like, crap, I got to escape, and you log out,
Yeah.
your ship's going to persist.
Yeah, and
for
that's
50
that's what
minutes.
they did in Eve too. Like they didn't have aggression levels, but if you even got hit or were the aggressor, you had to dodge them or get out and not commit to aggressive action for like 10 minutes. And after you did that for your cooldown or whatever, then you'd be able to log out safely after, you went.
I'd like
into
to
that
see
stuff.
those aggression levels be, like 10 minutes.
Well, what happens
per
if you're not the
aggression
one
level?
doing it though? What happens if you're getting hit by somebody? Because they counted aggression the same both ways.
Yeah, but here, remember, they're really working on it. I think they're getting pretty good at being able to determine intelligently who's being the aggressor. If you're running away, you're not shooting at somebody, and somebody's shooting at you. Well, it's pretty easy to say.
Well, the
you're
reason
not
they did
aggressor.
this in Eve, and I'll tell you exactly why they did that and made it neutral both ways, because they originally were going to do a hierarchy like that. But what would happen is, like, a guy would come in, fly, and kill this guy's buddy. Boom, he's dead. Get in a fight with the other guy, realize that he couldn't take the other guy, and then try to run away. And as long as, like, he, you know what I mean? And then as long as he was like, the aggression wasn't against you, and this stuff, they would manipulate the mechanics to where the guy who originally came in and ganked somebody would be able to get away easy. Under the new stuff,
Oh, you know
if
how
you
many
are
times
in-
I've raced around the system waiting for those timers
the way they
to go.
changed the
Oh my
system
God.
was your aggression was based on the last time you fired or you got hit was to a lesser degree. So let's say you did the
what
same
if you
scenario.
had allies, right? If we're allied with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe if we could choose alliances, so you and me are in an alliance, and Drones comes in and blows me up, and then you
I can
chase down
shoot at
Drone.
you.
Yeah, you could shoot at him, no problem, because he's aggressed against you because
against-
we're allied.
Exactly, against my org or my alliance. That's the way it worked inside EVE Online as well. Now, the question is, though, here's some of the gameplay that happened with that. We'd be sitting there, Drones comes in, kills you. I hold and I don't aggress back because I know there's a fleet of 300 people behind him. And if he gets us all to aggress, we can't not only log off, we can't jump the gate. It actually prevented travel through gates because of aggression timers. So it was a whole strategic mechanic on how people would be able to do it because they considered all gate travel and portals as they were controlled by the government or the police. So therefore, you'd have a cooldown timer before you could commit to a jump.
Do you guys are going to think that that's going to? Do you think that the UEE will control? I mean, I know
Only if there's space gates. If there's not space gates, I can't see them controlling wormholes and shit like that. That wouldn't happen.
They're going to be wormholes, but they still will have. I know that they have. They've shown that they have star bases next to some of the wormholes. So
if they do, I could see a starbase aggressing you with their cannons. If you're aggressive and stuff like that, I would absolutely expect them to start shooting at you.
Yeah.
So if you're a badass pilot and could dodge it and get in, there you go. Oh, are we gonna do this? Is this what we're doing? Do you guys really want to compete? Because I think I could win. I got this.
Yeah.
Wait,
I got this.
I'd have to go get my my lanyards. I have a whole crap ton of lanyards.
Oh, hold on. No, I might have this.
I only have one lanyard. That's it. The only one that matters. Jay Lee's.
This
lanyard.
isn't counting the ones that drop.
I don't know where mine are. They're in a box somewhere.
These are all Twitch and Star Citizen lanyards, though.
Yeah,
Well,
I have.
you know what was so funny? Is
Microsoft
when we went to
ones.
TwitchCon, Jay Lee had like a freaking entire bag full of lanyards, and he didn't think he'd be able to give them away.
Oh, he was out of
What am I
those.
going to do with these things?
I come in
They were
second.
like gone in no time.
Yeah, Mardi Gras for nerds. Exactly.
I'm telling you. Jingling, baby.
I did drop 2, so I'm missing 2, but yeah.
Yep. It's a lot of lanyards. I'm going to hang them back on there because they get hot. It's like a scarf. This is my scarf for the
It
winter.
really is, dude. I was just thinking, this is a lot. Jaylee had 160 lanyards. I believe that.
All right. Moving on. Says Reloaded says, do you think they will incorporate Mobiglass SDK so we can make our own apps like the translator via Amazon Poly?
They already said they don't know yet.
Yeah, they don't know yet.
I hope not, because somebody will make an app that displays penises and stuff. So
On your Mobiglass.
I hope that they do, but within the confines of the game, in terms of a different kind of what would you call it? Mixing and matching certain things where you don't get as much, you don't get enough
limited customization.
Yeah.
In Eve they released the API early on so we could make all sorts of cool tools and fitting tools and all that stuff that wouldn't impact anything in the game though. So they just released an API push out. I could see them doing that, but even at that, Chris has now more recently been like, yeah, maybe. Because I think they really want to sell all of Spectrum and all those things is the everything. They want to have the apps. They want to build all of them themselves in-house, and I think they've moved more that direction. I still hope for an eventual API release so we can make our own cool websites to track like profits and different markets around the verse, and that's cool stuff for players to do in the community, because especially as creative as this community is. But I don't know that they will anymore. I have my doubts now because they really want to make it all-encompassing and in-house. They haven't said they won't. They originally said they would, and now they're more on a maybe scale. So I'm feeling like it's going to go more to the, let's not worry about that. Look at this shiny thing I got. Unfortunately. So
Shiny!
Exactly. It won't stop us from making apps. It'll just stop us from making apps that actually pull in-game data.
Right.
That's the only problem with it. So, all right, next question from Beryl. What do you think are the most overlooked and underrated ships by players? Give me at least one each person. Go drones.
Reliant Mako.
Okay. Toy.
Argo Cargo.
Okay. Uber Nerd.
I don't know. Maybe like the MR, the base ship. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, buy it and then just get rid of it." I think that people are
writing it off too early.
Writing it off too early. There may, it may be such a low expense to ship that it might be a high money maker. So
it's true.
Operating expenses are important.
Yeah. don't know. That's a hard one for me. I'm gonna say the one that people probably is underrating a lot is going to right now that pops in my head is the Eclipse. I think people don't realize like how OP that ship will probably have to be, and it'll probably have to be nerf batted like a motherfucker. Because I really believe that, because it's
you do know why I have an Eclipse, right?
I have one too,
and it's probably not the reason you think.
Well,
they tricked me. Same way they tricked me into buying Polaris. Same exact way. They said if you buy it now, it'll be uniquely numbered, and I was like, damn it. Fuck.
I bought it so it makes
I gotta have a number.
I just want to make pretty explosions. I hope that also is able to hit ground targets too. That's my hope. All right.
Yeah.
Next question. Barrow says, if a BMM or Banu Merchantman and a Carrack got into a fight, which ship would be more likely to come out on top? The one who can call for help the fastest.
Well, no, they both have decent weaponry. The thing is I think that the way I understand it, I think the Carrack will be slightly more maneuverable, so it may be able to get out of the way of the BMM's gun.
Yep.
So
the Carrack would absolutely.
If you hit the Carrack,
the pilot's
if you hit the Carrack with your BMM guns, though, you might.
Yes.
It, so
absolutely,
I think the Carrack would win all day. Personally,
and the BMM is faster than the Carrack, most likely.
The Banu is designed to be a blockade runner, meaning to like bust through a line and GTFO. The Carrack is meant to defend itself. It's neither ship is supposed to be an aggressor. The Carrack is more meant to defend itself. How close are we to a jump?
But it's a long distance
that could factor in.
So it's got to be able to defend itself a bit.
Defend itself, but.
The Banu Merchantman can't do any exploration at all.
No,
none. I mean, its nav computers are hard coded,
and that's the thing for me. I think you have a better radar system, a better sensor system on the Carrack. It's going to be more maneuverable than the Banu, I believe. I think the Banu is going to be a tough nut to crack. I don't think you're going to kill it easily, but I think the Carrack will be able to outmaneuver it. So if the Banu stays in the fight and doesn't run away, I think the Banu's dead. In my opinion, because it'd be much like me saying, "Oh, well, you don't understand how big the gun is on the Starfarer." Oh yeah, well that's great, but you can't turn that son of a bitch to hit a goddamn thing unless the thing sits stationary in front of it. So that's the way that'll go, right? So if the Carrack sits there and goes, "Duh," it'll die, right?
If the Banu has first shot,
the
Carrack may not stand, but
if
they go head to head, the Carrack might come out on top. Now, if it is, if a fight starts between them, most likely the Banu Merchantman will be able to escape any kind of confrontation. So, they're vastly different ships, though.
Absolutely.
Think of the Banu Merchantman like a heavily armed Hull C.
Yeah, that flies in one direction. Spaceship Training Wheel says, do you think the missions from the special mission givers in 3.0 will provide much more cinematic experience, or will they just be variations on generic missions? Would you like to see what would you like to see from major mission givers? So it's like two-part question. So do you think it's going to be a more cinematic experience or just variations on generic missions?
I think it's more bespoke. I think that the Ruto and Miles Eckhart are both pretty much handcrafted. They're going to be much less, but there's handcrafted, and there are forks and all that. So there's a good variety of missions from both Ruto and from Miles Eckhart. Whereas the random missions are going to be the ones you pick up from people who aren't talking to you, just stuff that you find on the mission boards or whatever.
They might just even Moby Glass you like text docs, you know what I mean? You might not even have like a real video interface or anything like that with them. There's going to be all kinds.
Right. So it's going to be more of there's
and we have to consider too what we are going to consider in 3.0 generic missions are wholly different than the missions we have right now. Right. There's still
the
ones that we have right now are static linear That's it. There's only a single way to progress. There's no other way to do it. You can't go to the sixth mission. You can't go to the sixth ICC mission. Just not going to happen unless you've done 1 through 5. It's a linear progression. Whereas I think that they've said that the mission system in 3.0 is much different.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be.
That is not BJ Lee.
I think they will have some linear aspects to the bespoke missions, like the Miles Eckhart stuff. It'll fork, but it'll be far more structured than the ones that are not connected to a known individual, like Ruto or Miles Eckhart.
Yep. All right. Last question of the night. Do you think CIG will expand on Squadron 42 after release, such as Careers Pack would let you play as a medic, a pirate, a trader, or similar things like to Star Wars Rogue One movie? This will add replayability, a new perspective to events that will happen in Squadron 42. I could see them adding on mission packs. They did it on Wing Commander. Like, like a mission pack, like here's some bonus missions for that story, but they're wholly planning on going on to the next chapter of Squadron 42. I don't think they're going to keep adding on to Squadron 42.
Yeah, I could see you being able to do, like, there could be several roles to choose from in a single mission, like the one I was talking about earlier, where you're getting on a hoplite from a javelin. You go down to the surface of a planet with Mark Hamill's character, Old Man Colton, and you can either play the role of a medic or of a Marine or maybe they'll give you 3 different types of gameplay to do.
Yep.
If you're the medic, you get all this kind of equipment. If you're the Marine, you get this, and if you're the if you are the scout, you get the radar equipment or something like that, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and that would mean they didn't have to have any packs for it. It would just be which type of gameplay are you going to do? I think I think that it'll still be the same mission. It's just how you do the mission will be different. So
I agree. What do you guys think? Drones is like, I just want to fucking go to bed, dude.
This is the last question, so make it good, Drones.
I want to go to bed. That's my answer.
Good answer.
Thanks, buddy.
How about you, Toy?
What was the question real quick again? Sorry, my wife.
Question was about whether they were going to add on to Squadron 42.
Oh, yeah.
Or were they going to let you play as different characters or roles or something like that in future releases of it?
I don't know. What I'd like to see is for them to add in, like, the mission packs. Like, you can go and do these extra missions.
Yep.
Especially since they said they're adding in the planet stuff. So that's what I want to see. As far as playing as different characters and stuff, I don't think so, because they would have to go back and redo all new dialogue for an entire new character, and they're not going to want to focus on that. They're going to want to focus on working on part 2 and part 3. But adding in some extra combat missions, that's easy enough to do.
Yep.
Especially as soon as they get some sumption locked down.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying, too, because I know Wing Commander had special edition packs and add-ons and stuff like that, and I could see them doing some of that stuff because it'd be a nice, cheap way to earn some more revenue and get some more cool content out to us. All right, guys, if you haven't done it already, this is your last opportunity to get into the keyword raffle. !SpaceBros. This is for a $10 Star Citizen gift card. And, it's been really awesome. Everybody's been able to come on tonight. It's been a great show. We've gone way overtime. We're like into a 3.25 hour show now from our usual 2-hour show. But we've had a blast, and it's been really fun. So let's make sure we do this thing really quick. If you haven't got in, again, you have 2 minutes. I'm starting a clock. !SpaceBros. When are you going to be playing again this weekend, Dr. Drones? When are you going to be on? When can they find you? All that stuff?
Captain's Table tomorrow, and then Sunday, 10:30 a.m. I'll be live on my channel.
There you go. Toy, how about you? Got any weekend plans to be gaming it up?
I'll probably stream later tonight again. I've been streaming just about every night, just late.
That's cool.
Which sucks because, I saw the new Twitch achievements thing.
Yeah.
And only got 2 things to unlock partner, and I'll have one of the 2 tonight, which is stream, 12 days within a month.
Yeah.
But the 75 average viewers is going to kill me, especially that late night because, I'm not a popular Aussie streamer. So.
Well, we just got to shift some people your way at nighttime,
You
too.
could try the voice.
There you go.
Oh, crikey!
There you go. Do all that stuff.
I just say the C word over and over.
Oh, well, they'll be convinced.
Absolutely. No, we'll get it done. I expect to see both you and Drones hopefully get the numbers we need through the end of this year pretty easily, I would think. Especially 3.0 coming. I would think that we'll be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Because the partner requirement, you know what they're requiring on that achievement, Uber? For the
What
partner
achievement?
stuff? It's in the Twitch achievement
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
I saw that.
75.
No, really?
Yeah.
All those bastards made me get more.
I had to get 500. Don't cry. I had to get 500. You're like, had to get 85 or some shit. And everybody's like, oh my God, the Lord 75. I'm like, fuck all you guys. It's like, damn. No, but absolutely. I think that we'll be able to get all the bros on par here. We just need to, if you see a SpaceBro on, make sure you're following the team. It's under twitch.tv/team/SpaceBro Gaming. And you can always see one of the bros on. We know that Geo's on tonight. We're going to be hitting him up with a raid after this, too. And we'll make sure that hopefully Geo flips it back over to Toy, too, after that. So we'll do that thing. Just keep passing the love around. We'll get everybody in there. So let's do this riffle raffle, guys, real quick. We're not going to require a claim word or anything. We're going to keep it sleazy and easy. You do have to be following everybody inside our group here that's in the show. That's me, Toy, Dr. Drones, and Mr. Uber Nerd, of course. So make sure you guys are following all those channels if you're not already, but we know most of you are. So let's go ahead and seal this thing down. And we're going to draw the winner in 3, 2, 1, disco. And it looks like Tetracide is the winner. He's not currently on, but he is a sub of mine. So let's make sure that Tetracide, which is Tetricide, is following everybody. Boo doo 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 doo.
Oh, fun. I can't tell.
Can't tell.
I can tell you here in a second.
Tetracide's been following. Uberner is not following.
Not. Yeah, see, I just looked. Then Trace did it. He's not following me.
Oh, that's all right. Reroll then.
Or me.
Oh, my
no.
gosh. You're just saying he has some good taste. Well, everybody's a fine bottle of wine, but sometimes they're the exact beer I need. Next winner is Clubberson. I know Clubberson's in most of the guys around here, and he is online. So, Clubberson.
Sounds really familiar.
Yep,
Hold on.
I got Cleverson. Been following me since the 25th of August.
Yeah.
Watched me for 42 hours.
Yeah.
How's that?
There you go.
Wow.
No,
Yep,
42 hours,
oh.
though, right? That's like the special number.
I know. He can't watch you any
He
more hours
follows-
now.
Nope, he stopped. Wait, when was he
He
left?
follows all of us, and he has notifications on.
Oh,
he's
that is
awesome.
so funny. So he actually watched me today.
Nice.
Yeah. And he's got 42 hours. How perfect is that?
That works out perfect.
That's awesome.
Well, congratulations to Clubberson.
Confirmed! Squadron 42 coming out.
There you go. There you go. It's all in the signs.
I know,
All
right?
in the signs. We've seen it now. True light.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So everybody get geared up. We're going to go over and do this amazing raid real quick. So again,
Scare the crap out of him.
thank you so much for watching tonight, guys. We really appreciate it. And we are going to go. Let me gear up the raid thing here. Put the background music
Yeah,
on.
great thing. It's fun, man.
It works.
It does.
It does. I was surprised, and it carries the host over too.
Yes, it does. That's the good thing about the raid.
Yep,
Is it?
the raid, it carries the host over as well, which is really awesome. So, guys, again, thank you for watching. We love your faces. And make sure you're smacking that raid button to go see Geo get money, even if you aren't going to stay all night. We do want you to give him a good raid. So, until next week, we'll see you back on the SpaceBro Show, live next Friday, 10 p.m. CST. And we'll talk more spaceships, guys. Bye.